Hey guys, welcome to the stream. My name's Brian. If you're new, this is where MAGA comes to talk. All right, we're going to be live on the radio in just a moment or two. And I'm going to open up talking about this Marco Rubio pick to be Secretary of State. And I'm very concerned about this. And hopefully some people in the audience will have the answers to some questions I'm going to ask. If you're on hold, stand by. We'll be getting to the phones shortly. All right, this is the last commercial before we are live. All right. Steve is going to be really ticked off at me about this thing on the show today, but I can't, because we're not in the same place. It's hard. Stuff comes up and we can't communicate. It's hard to communicate certain things through text. Here we go. 1977. It's the Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig. All right. Oh, man. How amazing is it? 1 week ago today, President Trump was reelected to his second and non-consecutive term. What a great thing. Oh, I still can't believe it's amazing. The Trump miracle continues. All right. We got a lot to cover, and I've got a couple of questions, something I do not know the answer to, that I'm going to throw out to the listening audience. And hopefully we have someone out there who can give me the answers to what I'm going to bring up, okay, in just a moment. All right, a lot of exciting things are happening. Donald Trump is telling us who he's hiring for all these different jobs, and he's putting together a MAGA cabinet and a MAGA administration that is one to be proud of. Kristi Noem for Homeland Security Secretary. Homan we were talking about yesterday. Stephen Miller, oh man, just brilliant. And a bunch of others, including Marco Rubio as Secretary of State. Okay, and I do have some questions about this. Now, Susie Wiles, who's the Chief of Staff, she's a Florida person, and I'm very excited because, you know, I'm a Florida guy, and I like that Florida is becoming the seat of power, right? Isn't it? It really certainly is. We've got the president here. We're going to have the Secretary of State. We got the Chief of Staff, National Security Advisor. I mean, this is amazing. And what Trump is picking is not just incredibly competent people, but he's putting together people like with Stephen Miller and Homan as prime examples of this that are just, they don't care. They just do what's right. These are not wishy-washy rhinos. These are MAGA people that agree with you and agree with me on these things, and that's a great thing. However, I got some questions here about Marco Rubio. I have no problem with him being Secretary of State. I'm not going to... Listen, whoever President Trump picks, I'm going to support whatever President Trump does. And you should too. He's got 4 short years. He's been planning for this day for the last 4, well, maybe 3.5. And everything is going according to Trump's plan, which is what we want to happen. So I'm not questioning any of Trump's picks. I don't care who he picks. You know, he may pick some people you don't like. Shut up and dribble, all right? And just do what Trump says. But here's my concern about Marco Rubio, who I like. And I know a lot of people are going to talk about the 2016 campaign. That was 9 years ago, 8 years ago, 9 years ago. And Marco Rubio's grown a lot since then. He's always been 100% with President Trump. He's 100% with Florida. He's great. I like him a lot. And I voted for him, and and I'm sorry to see him leave because I always imagined Marco Rubio would be in the Senate forever and ever, okay, for the rest of his life. But he may very well be J.D. Vance's running mate in 4 years. Who knows? Who knows? Could be Kristi Noem, too. Maybe the puppy thing will be erased from people's memory by then with this appointment. But here's my question about Marco Rubio that I don't have the answer to. And if someone in the audience knows the answer to this, give me a call at 1-888-465-2631. Marco Rubio is only 2 years into his term, so there's 4 years left of his Senate term. And to my recollection, we've never had a senator in my lifetime, or at least not in my coherent lifetime, here in Florida, that stepped down with this much ahead of them. We had one senator leave, and it was, I can't remember who it was. I cannot remember who it was. And then George Lemieux got appointed to finish out their term, but there wasn't much of the term left, like less than a year, if I remember correctly. We didn't have all this time. And I know there's special elections and governors appoint. I understand what can happen. But what would happen in Florida? If Marco Rubio resigns to become Secretary of State, will Governor DeSantis be able to appoint someone to finish out the 4-year term? Or will he only appoint someone temporarily until, and then they'll have a special election to finish out the term? Does anyone know how this would work in Florida? I'm not sure anyone really knows. And from the little bit of research I've done, which is just Googling and reading a couple things for 5 minutes, I've not done any extensive research on this. I just haven't had time. It could go either way. I don't think anyone knows for sure what happens, but if you know, let me know. Can they let DeSantis just appoint someone to finish out the term, or could he appoint someone and then the legislature decide there should be an election? What will happen in Florida for this seat? This is an important seat, and I'll tell you why. And I have some picks that I'd like to see. If Marco Rubio is becoming Secretary of State, which is not official yet, but if it is and he resigns from the Senate, which I hate to see him go. I wanted him in the Senate for the rest of his life. He's great. I'd like to see Byron Donalds in that spot. Personally, that would be my first pick just off the top of my head, Byron Donalds. He's congressman here in Florida. We have other great members of Congress here in Florida, no doubt about it, like Matt Gaetz, but I don't think they'll give it to Gaetz. But I would love Matt Gaetz to be the senator. But here is my concern, and my concern is Ron DeSantis. Now, listen, if Trump brings DeSantis into the fold and gives him a job, whoever Trump picks and puts anywhere, they're good to me. However, I don't trust Ron DeSantis. I've talked about this a lot. Ron DeSantis lied to President Trump, and he lied to the Republican voters of Florida. He never was MAGA. He lied to us. And he betrayed us, and he betrayed Trump. He funded his presidential campaign, which was just disgusting that he had such a thing against President Trump. He funded it with money that he raised from MAGA people that he had left over in his gubernatorial campaign. And I personally believe that when they shot Trump in Butler, and he dodged that speeding bullet, and it clipped his ear, that if the worst would, I've talked about this several times, so this is, you've heard me say this before. When they shot President Trump, their plan was to plug Nikki Haley in as the nominee because she was number 2 in the primaries, remember? And probably DeSantis is Nikki Haley's running mate because he was 3rd. So I don't trust this guy, Ron DeSantis. I just don't trust him. And you know what? I don't know any Florida Republicans who do, unless they're never Trumper Republicans, okay? Yeah. And Ron DeSantis is unelectable forever. He could not win his congressional House seat again. Now, it's hard to say with these egomaniacs that make their way into the world of politics how aware Ron DeSantis is of the fact that he is unelectable in the state of Florida. He may not realize that. These people live in a fantasy land sometimes. But I'd like to think that he does understand that. So my question is, would he make himself the senator? So this is a three-part question, okay? One, because there's 4 years, and now again, I don't care what they do in Wisconsin or Michigan. I'm talking very specifically about Florida, and we've never had something exactly like this happen before, not with this much time left in the term. There's 4 years left in Marco Rubio's Senate term. So here's the question. One, will the governor appoint someone, which we know that they can do that, to replace Marco Rubio for the rest of the 4 years, or just until there's a special election? Does anyone in Florida even know what happens in such a situation with this much left? And two, can DeSantis appoint himself and avoid the election and finish out Marco Rubio's term? I'd like to know the answer to this, and I don't know how in touch with reality DeSantis is. He may think that he's still the big guy on campus here in Florida. If he thinks that, he's not mentally competent to run the state of Florida. I mean, you talk to any MAGA, this is a MAGA state. No one trusts this guy anymore because of his betrayal of Donald Trump running against him when he said he wouldn't do it. So our number is toll-free, 1-888-465-2631, 888-465-2631. It's a toll-free call, no matter where you are listening to us. You're listening, of course, to Florida's longest-running radio show, The Steve Kane Show. Now, I want to tell you guys, at MyPillow.com, the Christmas sales have begun, and a lot of great deals on some of the most popular MyPillow products. Yesterday, I was talking about the flannel sheets. My wife ordered some new flannel sheets. Mike Lindell has a whole bunch of new colors and patterns, including, we got the sheets with the Christmas trees on them. And there's a huge discount on those, a huge discount on the MyPillow towels. The MyPillow slippers, the lowest price they've been in a long, long time. There are a lot of great Christmas gifts at MyPillow.com. Do your Christmas shopping. Go to MyPillow.com. Use our promo code Kane at checkout, Kane, and also free shipping on orders over $75. You know, the my slippers, you will love them. I have 2 pairs of these. Steve has 2 pairs of them. They're made for all-day wear. They have a whole bunch of new colors in. They have big and wide sizes for the big guys, and smaller sizes for children and women, and every size in between. They're very, very comfortable. I love them. So go to MyPillow.com. Use our promo code Kane at checkout, Kane. Do your Christmas shopping for yourself or anyone on your gift-giving list. Remember, free shipping on orders over $75. And you can also order by phone, 1-800-716-4879. 1-800-716-4879. Promo code Kane, Kane. All right, if you're on hold, stand by. I'm Brian. It's the Steve Kane Show. We'll be right back. Someone said DeSantis is the best governor. What did DeSantis do that makes you say he was the best governor Florida ever had? I'd like to know. What did he do that makes you say that he was the best governor Florida ever had? Do you live in Florida, Jacob? Have you lived here for long? Well, start with the top couple, Jacob. Governor Rick Scott. Governor Rick Scott was better. No, he didn't turn Florida red. Trump did that. He did not turn Florida red. Rick Scott was much better. As crazy as this sounds, as much as a jerk as he is now, Jeb Bush was a very good governor. He broke the teachers' union. And Jacob's a little short on the list of things that make him the greatest governor Florida's ever had. Something to do with Disney. That's very vague now. Disney, he lost to Disney. He lost. No, Trump turned Miami red. Disney beat Ron DeSantis. Yeah, he brought in the voucher system, school choice in Florida, broke the teachers union big time. No.
Treasure Coast on 106.9 FM, hear us in Boca on 95.3 FM, Fort Lauderdale on 96.9 FM, and anywhere in the world at...
All right, coming up on 18 minutes after the hour. So if anybody has the answers to these questions on the Senate, they certainly are welcome. Our number, toll-free, 1-888-465-2631. Let's go to the phones. You're on the radio. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, this is Brian from Vero.
Hey, Brian and Vero, what's up?
Hey, listen, so basically, Ron DeSantis would have all the power to do this. However, it would only be, well, the first part of it would be only temporary until 2026, when a special election will come up.
So Florida law would require the special election, or could he finish out the 4 years? That's what I don't have the answer to.
No, it says here, let's see.
And this is Florida. You're not looking nationwide. You're looking in Florida law?
I'm looking in Florida. It says basically the appointment for replacement would serve until 2026.
When in 2026? November? That's a long time.
Well, there's until a special election.
Mm-hmm.
In 2026, and then
2026 is the midterm. So whoever they would do it during the midterms.
According to the information.
Well, I got to tell you, Ron DeSantis is going to be out of work after his term is up in 2 years as governor, and he's going to be out of work. So what do you think? Now DeSantis obviously can appoint himself, right?
That's correct, and that would be the worst case scenario.
Oh my goodness! I mean, I don't trust him. You're in Vero. Do you trust Ron DeSantis after what he did?
I don't trust him at all. I've seen too many things happen.
Yeah, I mean, I remember when Trump got arrested in New York and he left Mar-a-Lago. DeSantis didn't even come down here and go with him. It's disgusting. Marjorie Taylor Greene was here. She went with him. I was there. A lot of MAGA people were there, but Ron DeSantis was, yeah, I'm gonna get it now. He's going to jail. I mean, it was like he was excited.
Exactly.
All right. Well, thank you for the info. So whoever gets so Marco Rubio becomes Secretary of State. Governor DeSantis appoints a replacement. They're in place until the midterms in November 2026. So that's 2 years. 2 years. So, and then Ron DeSantis in 2 years is going to be out of work anyway. So what do you think? If he could appoint himself, do you think he'll do it and take the gamble that he'd be the incumbent senator and get reelected?
He just might be crazy enough to do it.
Yeah. All right. Appreciate the call. Vero Beach, Florida. Yeah. I mean, I like Byron Donalds. Would be my, Matt Gaetz too, but Matt Gaetz has got a lot of enemies. I love Matt Gaetz. So Byron Donalds or Matt Gaetz, those would be my two picks to replace in the Senate Marco Rubio. But we'll see. All right, let's go. You're on the radio. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, Jeff from Maine. Good morning, bro.
Hey, Jeff, what's up?
I don't trust that snake in the grass, DeSantis. He took money from the Bushes and the Republican establishment and ran against president, and he should have known he didn't have a chance, and he did it for money. And to think he had a chance, I'm sorry, he's not trustworthy at all.
Well, he was banking on Trump going to prison.
But if he's any type of Republican, he knew the charges were all fake, and Trump was going to win in the end.
Well, but he's in with listen, when I was very disturbed at DeSantis' second inauguration when Jeb was standing behind him, grinning from ear to ear. Now, Jeb was governor for 8 years, and he was a very good governor. Okay, Jeb is a weirdo now, and he's a snake, and you can't trust him. But when he was governor, he was a very, very good governor. He broke the teachers union, brought in school choice with vouchers. He was very good as governor. But that was a long time ago. I wouldn't trust him either. But when I saw Jeb behind him, I was like, oh, what is that? What is that about?
I really like Matt Gates, like you said, and I ought to, I don't think DeSantis would appoint him, but he's a great guy. Do you think he might have a place on Trump's cabinet?
Matt Gates? Well, he can't take the whole Republican Congress and put him in his cabinet. He's already plucked 3 people.
Yeah, I forgot about that, Brian. You're right. We have to keep the House and the Senate for the next at least 8 years, because when J.D. Vance takes over the reins, we need people in place to continue the MAGA.
But my guess is though that Trump, they wouldn't pluck Marco out of the Senate without having a pretty good idea who the replacement would be. They got to have a plan. Yeah, because the Senate's so important. And Marco Rubio, he has that Senate seat for the rest of his life if he wants it. He'll never have to worry again about an office. He'll be there as long as he wants it. He's got that Senate seat here in Florida. And he and I are the same age. He's got a long life ahead of him in the Senate. Those guys are there till they're 120.
I didn't know he was that young, but Marco Rubio, I have a little bit of caution against him because he attacked Trump personally. Remember?
Well, that was during the primaries. I'll give him a break on that. Trump approves of him, and he's been and since then though he's been 100% loyal with Trump. From the time he was elected, he's been 100% loyal.
And he brings a lot of Hispanic voters with him. He can be very important for 2028. I do like him still.
And he's very tough. And I'll tell you, it's possible they're bringing him in to deal with, he'll have to deal with Russia and Ukraine and all that. But maybe, part of the reason he's coming in is to get Latin America under control. Because they're under attack by South America in this country. Yes. And,
looking down the road at 2028 for VP for J.D. Vance, there's several out there that could really help firm up that those votes. Do you think that that's an important, foresight to be looking at?
Well, I didn't quite get the question.
The vice president choice for.
Oh yeah, he picked someone so young. He's because he wants him to be the second MAGA president. Yeah, J.D. Vance is the political apprentice. He's the heir unless he screws up. He'll be our nominee. He'll be in 4 years. He'll be president-elect.
I believe he will too. And his choice for VP can secure that White House for a couple of more terms after him.
And I know some people are saying, why are you giving DeSantis a hard time when Marco Rubio said some things, or JD? What DeSantis did that was different than JD Vance, who made a comment, or Marco Rubio, who made a couple of off-color jokes years ago, he lied to President Trump and the people of Florida. He said, I saw him say twice he would not run against Trump, and he did. Okay? And he was fake MAGA. Fake MAGA. He was JD and Marco have never betrayed Trump. DeSantis used Trump, lied to Trump to get his endorsement the first time.
And second to the lying, a close second is him taking money from the Bushes and Republican establishment.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's what really ticked me off.
Yeah.
He did that for money. And I'm sorry, that when you get swayed by the mighty dollar, you're not trustworthy.
Well, now, all this depends on how self-aware DeSantis is. He may think he's as popular as ever. He may not, these egomaniacs in the world of politics. Ron DeSantis may not realize he's unelectable in Florida. No one in Florida that's MAGA likes this guy. I'm sorry. No one does. Now, if Trump makes him the FEMA director or something, things will be forgotten. But I haven't seen Trump do that. He's been treated kind of like Nikki Haley.
Do you think that DeSantis could do a good job with FEMA? Because
he does a good job after the hurricanes hit. I mean, he's got an expertise in that, and he does a great job after the hurricanes hit Florida. So yeah, he would be a good FEMA director. FEMA director is not a path to the presidency. That's just that's a temporary job. I don't really want to. If I have to, I will one day, but I don't ever want to have to vote for him again. I don't trust Ron DeSantis. He's we broke the Republican establishment, and he's with the Bushes. Remember, it's in it. Go get Ron DeSantis' autobiography, okay? He was the captain of the Yale baseball team. George H.W. Bush 41 was captain of the Yale baseball team. They met when DeSantis was the captain of the team, and then that's when they recruited him. And that's how the Bushes brought him up, because of that Bush 41 baseball team captain connection. All right. Listen, I got to run for the break, but some good points. All right, thanks for the call. You too. If you're on hold, stand by. My name is Brian Craig. This is the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest running radio show. On the radio since 1977, our number 1-888-465-2631. Back after this. All right, guys, hold on. I'm getting all set up here. If you're new, guys, make sure you subscribe to the channel. This is most definitely where MAGA comes to talk.
This is Mark Laporta, son of Pamela Laporta and proud second-generation owner of Laporta Roofing. As a military veteran who served in the Army after 9/11, I brought the same dedication and discipline to our family business. At Laporta Roofing, we've been serving our community for nearly 4 decades, and we're committed to continuing that legacy of excellence. Our team specializes in all types of roofing systems, from shingles to tile, slate, metal, and flat roofs.
All right.
Experts for single-family homes, HOA communities.
All right, if you're on hold, hang in there.
Satisfaction. I've personally implemented systems to ensure you receive the best in customer service and workmanship. Don't miss out on our limited time offer for a free roof inspection. Call us now at 954-604-4602 or visit us at laportaroofing.com. Trust the experts who've been protecting homes like yours for generations. Again, that number is 954-604-4602.
Do you have questions about retirement? Hi, it's Kathy Green, co-host of the Jupiter Joe Show. Wednesday, Thursday at 6 p.m. and Saturday mornings at 7:30 a.m. to the Jupiter Joe Money Show, where we answer all kinds of questions about retirement right here on your True Oldies channel. Mike Lindell is offering wholesale pricing for Christmas. Just $14.88. They wouldn't even offer this long before. That's right, just $14.88 and free shipping on orders over $75. So go to mypillow.com right now and use our promo code Kane at checkout.
All right. We'll be back shortly, guys. Oh, Eric Trump is the senator from Florida? That would be great. But I don't know if DeSantis is going to pick Eric Trump. Or Don Jr. They both live here. That'd be great. I'd be happy with that, too. All right. Welcome. If you're on hold, stand by. We're going to go right back to the phones at 1-888-465-2630. We're talking about what would happen if the great Marco Rubio, how his vacancy is going to be filled, and is DeSantis going to try to figure out a way to have a job, but he's going to be out of work in 2 years, and he's unelectable forever. All right, let's go. You're on the radio. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hi, I'm Maria, and I'm calling from Great Falls, Montana.
Hey, Montana, what's up?
One of the things I did find is that the 17th Amendment to the Constitution does say that the governor is supposed to appoint.
Yeah, we know that. But every state's different. So we don't, we've established DeSantis would appoint a replacement. He could appoint himself, or he could appoint Eric or Trump or Don Jr., who, he could appoint anybody. And there's an election in 2 years. So the question is DeSantis trying to wiggle his way into employment here with this Senate vacancy coming up in Florida? Because we don't like him here. MAGA does not like Ron DeSantis. We don't trust. Do you trust Ron DeSantis?
I do not, and I used to live in Florida, but I still have family there.
Oh.
I trust.
Yeah.
Katie, I don't like this stuff. I know it's election, blah blah blah.
And people think that he's like uber conservative. During the lockdowns, he had Florida locked down. He went on television and told spring breakers if they came to Miami, they weren't welcome, right? He had the highway patrol on the Florida border with our neighboring states, Georgia, Alabama, checking cars that entered the state of Florida. Now, Florida did open up earlier than other states, but he had lockdowns. These are things that have been forgotten by people.
I do have another question. What do you think of LeeZep? How come he isn't? Is he going anywhere with Trump? Is he going to be?
I don't know. I mean, he's really an unknown guy. We don't know much about him. He's charming. He's likable. I like him, but we don't really. He's untried. I mean, when somebody's completely untried, you got to be like. I give you an example. Carrie Lake. I knew that they weren't going to let Carrie Lake win out there in Arizona. I mean, and I think she knew it. I mean, me personally, it seemed like Carrie Lake had kind of taken kind of a break the last few weeks before the election. Didn't hear from her as much. Maybe I'm wrong about that, but I didn't hear from her as much. And a lot of people are saying, well, why doesn't Trump put her in the cabinet? Maybe he will, but she really doesn't have a lot of experience. She's a media person, and being press secretary, I think, is a step down from the clout she's at. Maybe he'll make her ambassador to something. But Carrie Lake, are they ever going to let her win out in Arizona? The ghost of the John McCain Republicans are really against her.
True story. What about Tulsi Gabbard? McEnany.
Well, she's there. I mean, she McEnany supports her. She's the breadwinner in her family, McEnany. Okay? I don't even know if her husband still plays baseball, and he was only minor league. So wasn't he just a minor league ball player? So she's the breadwinner. She can't walk away from that to go take a job that doesn't pay that. Same thing. A lot of people are talking about Bongino. Bongino makes a lot of money on his radio show and podcast, and he lives very high on the hog here in Florida. Is he going to walk away from a multi-million-dollar a year deal to go work for Trump for low six figures? It's doubtful. Could happen, but it's doubtful. Yeah. But Tulsi is very close with Trump, and I'd be surprised if she didn't have some kind of job. I mean, I'm glad Kristi Noem is going to be the Homeland Secretary. That's great.
Tom, I'm so excited about him finally getting his voice heard and be able to do something. That man deserves to have some action done.
Oh, and don't worry. He told Trump that he would need 120 days to take care of the border, and Trump told him he had 60. Don't you? And Stephen Miller, they're in such meltdowns on CNN over Stephen Miller. He's perfect.
I love it. Well,
all right. Well, I appreciate the call. Yeah, some people are saying that For Bongino not to walk away from his multi-million-dollar a year radio show and podcast is greed. It's very easy for you guys to give away his millions of dollars a year when you're not making it. And when you've got a family and you're living at that lifestyle level, it's very easy for you to say, oh yeah, I'm not going to be greedy. Instead of making $5 million, I'm going to make $150,000. I mean, I don't know how much he makes, but and I don't know how much he would make as Secret Service director, but it's, you know, how much is it? $175 a year, which is a lot of money, but not if you're making millions a year now. So you got to be a little real. It's not greed. I love these people that are just, you know, it's easy for you to give away Dan Bongino's income. All right, let's go. You're on the radio. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Yeah, good morning. Good morning.
Oh, hey, Richie.
I understand that, so first of all, I want to say this. The only time a politician tells the truth is when he says the other politician is lying. Okay? Bottom line is this. Do you trust Marshall Blackburn?
I really thought about it too much. I don't know.
Do you trust Ted Cruz?
Yes. Ted Cruz, I trust him to be Ted Cruz. I trust him to a point.
I'm throwing this at you, and I'm not trying to get you.
I don't mind. You can ask me. Gotcha. I trust Ted Cruz to a point. I still think that was his dad with Lee Harvey Oswald in New Orleans, and he came up through the Bush family. So I trust him to a point.
We all have opinions, okay? And I told you yesterday, this secret vote that's going to be taking place tomorrow is actually a vote for President Trump's agenda. If Foon or the other guy, Cornyn, get in, they're totally McConnell lookalikes, even in their votes against Trump, their words against Trump, and every other damn thing. Those two I don't trust.
Well, now slow down. Now I'm going to slow down here. Now what happens tomorrow, we don't know what's going to happen in the Senate vote. It could... Well, let me finish my thought. Okay, we don't know what's going to happen. Okay, I like Rick Scott. Rick Scott was the greatest governor. I mean, he was so good. He's so good. But here's the thing: is it Donald Trump, the art of the deal? Could Trump make a deal for Rick Scott to get the Republican leadership position in the Senate in exchange for Ron DeSanctimonious appointing himself to replace Marco as the senator? Would that be a fair exchange to you? Let DeSantis replace Marco in the Senate for Rick Scott becoming the leader of the Senate.
I think DeSantis will stay as governor, and if he wants the Senate thing in 2 years, he'll run for it.
He'll lose in the primary.
But hold it, you say he's not electable, but that's Brian Craig's opinion, and the people that call into this show, that doesn't mean all of MAGA. And let me say this to you. The point I was bringing up is these names that I brought up are on that list of people that are going to vote for Clinton because they've been promised something by McConnell. These are the people that Trump put in office that wouldn't even be there, that are going to vote against Trump's agenda. This is the most important vote tomorrow. It's a vote.
Well, when we get more, we'll talk about it tomorrow, mainly on Thursday, if it's settled.
Things are on that list that are going to vote against Trump.
We'll see. President Trump's going to Washington, right, to meet with Biden and all of that. You don't think Trump's all over this? You think he's just sitting back, letting things happen?
That list was pulled off by this guy Benny, okay, and he got this list. He had investigated. Somebody gave him the list of people, and Cornyn is like second, and Thune is number one right.
Yeah.
And Scott is third. But all those people that are going to vote for these other two are MAGA people that we thought were.
But the other two could very well split the vote. I don't know. We'll find out. I mean, what you're talking,
Politicians, these senators are dirtbags.
That is true. Yes, I agree with you on that.
So the secret vote, this whole damn thing with McConnell, this is disgusting. And what I'm trying to say is, I don't trust any politicians.
Well, unless their name is Trump.
Rubio is just as good as any of them.
No, excuse me. Since what, DeSantis? DeSantis betrayed Donald Trump. He betrayed Donald Trump.
They're going to betray Donald Trump tomorrow with this vote.
Maybe. We'll find out tomorrow.
I don't trust any politician.
Listen, what's going on in the Senate? What's going on in the Senate is the Republican establishment's desperate attempt to have some hang on to something. That's right.
Yeah, but the people that it should be with Scott, because they know with Trump are right now.
Okay. All right. Well, we're gonna talk about that tomorrow, mainly on Thursday. Okay. All right. Take care, Richie. Take care, Richie. It's open phones is on Friday. So sometimes Richie thinks I'm not talking about what I should be talking about, so he calls in and tries to, it's not going to happen. Now I want to tell everyone about the doorbell camera offer from Sloman's. Have you not taken advantage of this yet? It's amazing, the doorbell camera, and you can get one for free from Sloman's that connects directly to your cell phone with the installation of your Sloman's Shield. Sloman's is also going to give you a free customized home security system and professional installation when you use their low-cost central station monitoring. Sloman's is going to give you an LED touchscreen, a motion detector, 10 contacts, a lifetime warranty, a backup battery, and you'll receive a free doorbell camera with the installation of your Sloman's Shield. Give them a call right now, 1-833-283-5050. 1-833-283-5050. That's 1-833-283-5050. My name's Brian. It's the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest running radio show. We'll be right back.
The cold, hard truth. Delivered morning 6 to 9 right here on The Steve Kane Show.
Hello, this is Mike at Friendly Tire. I've been in business 30 years at the same location and offering great deals on new and used tires. I have many suppliers. Whatever car or truck you have, I can get you incredible deals on any tire. I also do tire repairs at very low prices. Give me a call. My number is 954-977-9445. I will give you a price over the phone on new and used tires. Again, my number is 954-977-9445. Thank you.
Now, guys, sponsoring the show today is this incredible digital download Etsy shop. There's a direct link to this Etsy shop in the description of the video, wherever you're watching. It's called Goose Printing, and they have digital planners, all kinds of other printable templates that you can use for all kinds of things, plan your finances, budgeting, invitations, cookbooks, all kinds of things. And if you could go and check out this Etsy shop, and if you see something you like, everything's very affordable. And make a purchase. Look at this. Look at these prices. Just $1.24, $1.52, $1.79. These are incredible prices. $1.25. Very low prices. Self-care planners, wedding planners, cookbooks, business planners, work planners, student planners, budget planning, meal planners, household scheduling, all kinds of things. Goose Printing on Etsy. Again, the link is in the description of the video, no matter where you're watching. So if you could click that link and check the store out and buy something, I'd appreciate it. They're good people, and of course, they're sponsoring the program today. I'd greatly appreciate that, if you don't mind. Again, the link is in the description of the video. They have, I don't know how many different items, 37 items on sale. So give them your support. They support me, so if you support them, I'd greatly appreciate it. Goose Printing on Etsy. Again, a link is in the description of the video. All right, guys? And you know what? I'm going to pin it in the chat.
We have private shore excursions, private cocktail parties, group activities. We're going to go to the shows together and much, much more. Call Ian at Cruise and Travel Depot right now. 561-244-5779.
I'll pin the link in the live chat.
244-5779 and online at cruisingdepot.com to make your reservation and lock in our private group rate. Nothing comes close to Celebrity Cruises.
So if you're watching live, click that link, check out that Etsy shop. I'd greatly appreciate it, guys. All right. We are back 46 minutes after the hour. I'm Brian. It's the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest running radio show on the radio since 1977, celebrating 47 years on the radio. Before we go back to the phones, I wanted to talk about this FEMA story and share some thoughts with you. The FEMA woman that was telling her, Ms. Washington, telling her workers not to render disaster relief to Trump people if there were any Trump signage or anything on the house. And I guess that would mean a bumper sticker on a car, no help for you. And I'm going to tell you what I think this is about. This is this DEI crap. Didn't earn it. This is a racist, a black racist woman like Joy Reid on MSNBC, like Sunny Hostin on The View. And what she really was saying is, don't help whitey, don't help white people. And this is what's been running this government, this type of hardcore anti-American racism that's going on. And yes, this FEMA story could be a hate crime. This thing about her being fired, I'm a little unclear on that. Was she fired or was she allowed to resign? Has she worked there long enough to receive some type of pension? And is she going to have benefits as a government worker? I don't know. She should be arrested. What she did was criminal. People could have died and may have died or suffered injury and harm because of it. Certainly a hate crime, which liberals are all into prosecuting people for hate crimes, and also mismanagement of a federal agency and federal money. There's got to be all kinds of federal felonies here. But this goes back to something that we haven't, if you're on hold, stand by. No one's calling this what it is. I think this FEMA director is just a racist and didn't want white people to get help, in particular the Trump white people. You agree with that or not? Nobody's saying that in the media, I understand. But this takes us back a few years. Remember the VA issues? Now, I talked about, those of you that were listening back then may have heard me talk about this back then. Remember all this stuff with the VA? People were not getting treatment and they were dying. And I said this then, that I think this is a racist attack on white veterans at the VA. When there were families coming forward about veterans who died because they didn't receive treatment in time at the VA, all of them were white. I didn't see any stories on any non-white veterans that died for not receiving treatment during that period at the Veterans Administration. And there was one or two veteran hospitals in particular they were focusing on out west. I can't remember which ones. I think I remember, but I'm not 100%, so I don't want to say. It's been a few years since this was happening. And, you know, when you go to the bureaucracy of government, there's a high likelihood you're going to be dealing with someone who's a Democrat, liberal, and also African American. And I wondered at the time, and I talked about this on the air, and I got a lot of heat from people, but I said this at the time during the VA scandals, is this an instance of a couple of racist appointment setters at the VA who are putting off life-saving treatment to white veterans? And nobody looked at it that way. And appointment setters in the bureaucracy, they decide who gets treatment, who gets to see the doctors, who gets the surgeries and all of that. And I was wondering if that was the issue with that veteran scandal a number of years ago, which would be murder, manslaughter or something, and a hate crime. And I got a lot of heat for bringing that up at the time, but a lot of people also said I hadn't thought about that. Well, we're seeing a similar thing with this FEMA lady. Is this anti-Trumpism, anti-whiteism, or both? And why is this settled with her being fired? And again, do we know, is she getting her government benefits? Was she allowed to resign? Was she really fired? Or did she quit? Do you think this was racism? What do you think's going on here? 1-888-465-2631. That's our number. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
From Louisiana.
Hey, Mike.
You know, sometimes Richie tends to get out ahead of his skis, even though over the past handful of days, that's the whole Senate thing is what Steve Bannon's been talking about, is this whole Senate thing. But that's neither here nor there. I want to talk about...
Well, I'm not here... Listen, here's the thing in the Senate, okay? First off, I'm not here to copy what Steve Bannon's doing. I don't know. That's why I don't listen to a lot of other shows, because I don't want to do what they're doing. But Steve Bannon, he is talking directly to the players. The people in the Senate that make these votes and everything, and their staffs listen to him. He's in Washington. They listen to him. So he's like lobbying directly to those people. Right now, I think it's a little premature for us to be talking about this Senate vote because it hasn't happened yet. And unlike Steve Bannon, we're not talking directly to the staff and the senators. That's who he views his audience. Okay, Steve Bannon, with this topic. And really, the time to talk about it for us is either the day of or the day after the vote. It's too premature to be talking about that, right? In my opinion, because nothing's happened.
Right. Now, as far as DeSantis and appointing himself to the thing, he's just, other than the hurricane stuff, he's been so marginalized that he's not a good governor right now. Now, could it be that if he appoints himself, he figures, okay, I can appoint myself to a 2-year term or whatever it is to the Senate and be a thorn in President Trump's side?
Yeah, I may have missed it, but I didn't see Ron DeSantis at the victory celebration at Mar-a-Lago last week. Did you guys?
Not even close.
Yeah. So, and there's been a lot of key moments. There's been a lot of key moments that he's been absent from. So, no, I don't trust him. And this idea that he did all these things to Florida, what did he do to make Florida great? Florida has always been great. He has not changed anything. He did not make Florida red. Donald Trump made Florida red. Okay? Not Ron DeSantis. I'm sorry to break it to you. Same goes for Miami. That's part of Florida.
And I still do agree with you about him and Disney. He'll probably end up working at Disney.
He lost to Disney, okay? Disney, they beat him, and they're woker than ever at Disney. Disney, I've been an annual pass holder at Disney for many, 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 many years. I've not been to Disney in over a year, or maybe a year. And last time I went to Disney, they wouldn't let me in. I don't know if any of you guys seen that. I made a YouTube video about this. I went to Disney and security wouldn't let me in to Walt Disney World. And maybe it's on my other YouTube channel. I do a YouTube channel where I vlog. Maybe I'll show it to you guys if you hadn't seen it. That was the last time I went to Disney World. I don't think I've set foot inside Disney World in a year or more, and I'm letting my annual pass expire for the first time. Disney did something that is so horrific that I'm just disgusted by Disney. They've done a lot of bad things in the last couple of years, but they have done away people that are disabled, that are in wheelchairs and have and disabilities and illnesses and sicknesses. They have a special disability pass that they give to people like that. Well, they don't do that anymore. So, like my wife who's disabled, she's in a wheelchair, she has some other illnesses, she can't wait in line for 2 hours to get on a ride. You get a pass where they give you a time to come to the ride, right? They say, okay, come back at 2 o'clock, and you can ride the ride. And they've done away with that, affecting millions of visitors, hundreds a year to Disney. And they're discriminating against disabled people in a way that is so disgusting. My wife will never be able to go to Walt Disney World again because of this. And, so I'm pretty disgusted by Disney. But Disney, they beat Ron DeSantis. And I predicted after the betrayal of Trump by Ron DeSantis, and I told you guys, this is before the primaries were, by the way, Mike, thanks for the call. This is before the primaries were done. I said Ron DeSantis is unelectable forever in the state of Florida. Okay? And I made a prediction. I said he very well may end up on the board of directors at Disney. His last year of governor, maybe he'll do some things to help them out a little. I don't know. But you don't see him at war with Disney anymore. And I predicted, and we don't know yet, that he will end up on the board of directors at Disney. in the future. And I still would not be surprised by that. Okay, after the top of the hour, I'm going to bring up some other topics. You're all welcome to call in. Our number is 1-888-465-2631. I'm going to get into some of these big, bold moves that President Trump has been doing lately, which are absolutely amazing. These picks that he's made already are just huge, huge moves that Trump has made. The people he is picking for these different jobs are not rhinos. They're hardcore MAGA. They don't play. And they're people that are focused in on the most important issues in our country, namely the invasion that's going on of this country, Invasion USA, through the southern border. Now, I want to ask you this. Are you in pain? Well, that means you haven't gone to see Dr. Appleton. Dr. Appleton, with his laser wave pain treatment, has now rid me of pain 6 times, most recently in my left shoulder. His laser wave pain treatment works on every type of pain I've ever heard of: arthritis, bronchial neuralgia, bursitis, hip pain, knee pain, lumbar pain, muscular contraction, sciatica, strains and sprains, tinnitus, tennis elbow, neck pain, stenosis, herniated disc. Whatever pain I've ever heard of, the laser wave pain treatment works. You know, I have met so many listeners in the last more than 2 years since Dr. Appleton has been with us that just rave about how they've got their lives back. And I have my life back. You know, yesterday I climbed up on my roof to watch a SpaceX launch. I wouldn't have been able to do that if Dr. Appleton didn't rid me of my pain in my left shoulder. I wouldn't have been able to climb the ladder to get up on my roof. Appointments are not necessary. Walk-ins are welcome, even on Saturdays. The laser wave pain treatment works. It's 100% painless, too. There's no injections, no shots, no downtime. Dr. Appleton performs all the laser treatments himself, not an assistant, which is absolutely amazing. His number, give him a call, 954-973-0710. 954-973-0710. That's 954-973-0710. And online, AppletonCairo.com. Yeah, he's amazing. AppletonCairo.com is his website. All right, 1 hour down, 2 to go. If you're on hold, hang in there. We'll take our break for the top of the hour. I'm going to get into some of these big moves President Trump has been making this week, which are causing liberal meltdowns. There's a lot of denial going on among liberals, and the denial is that not only did Trump win, but this is a MAGA country, and we won the majority vote. Okay, we won the popular vote. So when he picks great people like Homan or Stephen Miller, America's excited. They're not down in the dumps like CNN and MSNBC are feeling. All right, if you're on hold, hang in there. I'm Brian. It's the Steve Kane Show. We'll take our break for the top of the hour and be right back.
South Florida with highs in the mid-80s, sunny skies, and no chances of rain. So stay cool, have a great Tuesday, and keep it right here on the True Oldies channel.
Weather brought to you by All Year Cooling. Enjoy free AC replacement estimates along with same-day service and installation. Visit allyearcooling.com to schedule your service today. And remember, the All Year family is here to serve your family all year long. And now, a True Oldies traffic check. Brought to you by the Palm Beach Kennel Club.
Nice driving on the Interstate 95 is up to speed in both directions. Nothing major going on the turnpike either. We do have slowdowns on the B line between Blue Heron Boulevard and North Lake.
Oh, AOC is up to something. I'll get to that when we get back.
Time with family, laughs with friends.
No more babysitting, dude. Border Patrol is on the job. Yeah, yeah.
That's because Discover doubles all of the cash back you've earned on your credit card at the end of your first year.
There'd be a special election for Byron Donald's seat.
That's traffic. I'm Billy Combs.
Traffic, a service of the Palm Beach Kennel Club. Catch the PBKC Pigs football podcast every Wednesday morning at 10 a.m. and catch football Sundays in the Paddock Restaurant with a delicious all-you-can-eat buffet and a draft beer for just $25. And get this deal for free by calling
I saw something this morning.
Watch all the games on over 140.
Maybe I'll mention it on the app.
Big screens every football Sunday. For more info on all the upcoming shows in the paddock, go to pbkennelclub.com.
Solomons and their free home security system and free doorbell camera with professional installation offer is here. Yep, finally some great news. I would you like a free doorbell camera? You get a doorbell camera, you get a doorbell camera, and you can get a doorbell camera. The first 40 True Oldies listeners who call 833-283-5050
Yes.
will get this limited time offer of a free doorbell camera that connects directly to your smartphone with installation of your Sloan Shield. And that's not all. Solomons will give you a free customized home security system and professional installation when you use their low-cost central station monitoring. So you're going to get an LED touchscreen, band 10 contacts, backup battery, and service plan. Plus, if you're one of the first 40 True Oldies listeners to call 833-283-5050, you'll receive a free doorbell camera with installation of your Sloan Shield. Keep your family safe. Call 833-283-5050. That's 1-833-283-5050.
On the air since 1977, it's the Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig.
All right, callers on hold, stand by. I don't even know if I should bring this up, what I'm going to bring up. But I'll well, what the heck? I'll bring it up. It's nobody probably, I don't know. If you're on hold, stand by. My name is Brian. You're listening to the Steve Kane Show. I found something out today, and it's kind of on my mind. I am not the only Brian Craig in America. There are other Brian Craigs. One of them is a gay guy who's an actor on General Hospital. And there's a lot of Brian Craigs. And there's another Brian Craig who is not the gay guy on General Hospital, but is a good Christian man. And he and I, for the past many years, have been in this other Brian Craig, not the gay guy from General Hospital, Brian Craig, but this Christian pastor and singer, Brian Craig. He and I have been in competition with one another in Google search results for years. If you search him, you're trying to find him, you find me. If you're trying to find me, you find him. And I just found out this morning that he passed away. The singer Brian Craig, who's a good Christian guy, and I didn't know him. We'd come across each other online once or twice, and we've had this online Google search results competition going on for years. And when I saw that he passed away, I found out because his church, he was a very good Christian singer, his church had a memorial service for him. And it's like, and we were born the same year, we're the exact same age. And it was a memorial, and it had the birth date and the death date, and we got the same name. And I feel like bad about that. I mean, I feel bad if anyone passes, don't misunderstand me. But I've never had someone pass away that has the same name that I have, Brian Craig, and we've been in competition for Google search results all these years. And I almost feel guilty that we've been in competition. I did not know that I don't know all the details, but I think he had cancer. And I was aware that he had cancer. I thought he had beat cancer. And sadly, he didn't. But it's just, I don't know. I know it seems crazy to be moved by someone you didn't know is passing. But we had the same name and that little competition we had going on. Oh, boy. All right, let's go to the phones. 1-888-465-2630. Well, it's weird when you go online and you see Rest in Peace Brian Craig. It has the year you were born and the year we're currently in, too. That was a little strange, although I knew it wasn't me because I was very much alive reading it, that it was the other Brian Craig. But I know it was just a little weird seeing that. It's like seeing your name on a headstone. It's very strange. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Good morning, Conservative Doug. Well,
Hey, Doug.
glad it wasn't you. Glad it wasn't you.
Well, I'm glad it wasn't me too, but I feel bad for the other Brian Craig because he was a nice guy. And but I mean, what would you think if you go on? This was right before I left the house this morning. It pops up on my computer, and it says Brian Craig Memorial, and it has my birth year, 1971 to 2024, and I'm like, it was very weird to see that.
That's very strange. Very, very strange. But luckily, the guy had his time, and now
his time. We're the same age. He was a good Christian guy, though. I'm not, I feel bad for his loss and his family, and he was I have watched his singing many times online, and he was a very talented musician, a singer, songwriter, and a good Christian man, and a minister. And I started to watch, and I will probably watch it today. His final Bible teaching is online, and I might finish that. I started watching it, but I was getting so depressed at the death of Brian Craig. I was like, what is going on here? But I'll watch his final Bible teaching today.
It's sad that people still die from cancer. I mean, you think by now they would come up.
Especially, well, Joe Biden, remember, said he had a cure for cancer.
Yeah, Joe Biden. That guy says anything just to make people feel like he's doing something, but he isn't doing nothing. They'll come up with something eventually. Matter of fact, I talked to somebody from Sloan Kettering and they said 2 years they should be able to get rid of cancer, but we'll see. Everybody says these things and then nothing happens. Talking about nothing happened, you mentioned DeSantis. That guy is just what a disappointment. Everybody, put it this way, the majority are all annoyed that the insurance rates are so damn high in Florida. And he doesn't do anything to fix it. Everything is the same. They're increasing the rates, and they let them get away with it. I don't get it.
Yeah, he hasn't done much. And I remember when he was losing the Republican primary for governor. Trump saved him, and then he betrayed Trump.
Something wrong. I don't know who gave him that bad information, but he made a mistake. And why he's letting the insurance companies get away with it, I don't know, man. But I'm not for him anymore, man. That's for sure.
Well, Ron DeSantis, I want you to understand, and I learned this, I could not believe this. Laura Loomer did a lot of reporting on Ron DeSantis, and I was shocked that he doesn't own a car. What kind of man in Florida doesn't own a car that's not a homeless person?
I'm sorry, I only know one person that I've ever met that didn't have a car.
In a Floridian? What was he, 12?
This guy lived in Brooklyn, and he always.
Oh well, New York's different. New York doesn't count. I'm talking about in Florida. I mean, even a lot of homeless people have cars; they live in them. I mean,
Oh man.
Exactly. All right, Doug. Yes.
Well, I'm hoping that President Trump assigns Rudy into something. Rudy Giuliani needs to be on his cabinet. I'm hoping. Rudy's a great guy. And they've been putting him to hell. And certainly, if he gets in the establishment and back with Trump, I think everybody will start feeling good.
Okay. Yeah, I love Mayor Giuliani. All right, take care. You're on the radio. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
James from Boca.
Hey, James.
Hey, one thing I'd really like to see the Trump presidency do is make it easier to remove the politicians.
What does that mean?
Well, it takes 2/3 to vote out a majority vote.
Well, there's a good reason for that. There's a good reason for that. You don't want it to be easy just because you don't like someone. You don't want to go to remove someone from Congress means you're going against the voters.
Well, that's why I want to put it back to the voters instead of them. Like if you have a den full of snakes and
listen. The House of everybody in the House is up for re-election every 2 years. That's a lot of pressure. They're constantly running. I mean, every 2 years. That's a lot. I mean, they never get to relax. They're already running next time already.
Yeah, I understand that part.
Yeah. No, you don't want to be removing people. That's what the left would like.
The going on in our government, like the secret vote.
It's money.
Make it cleaner, you know.
There's too much money involved. It's always been crooked. I give you an example. This is the textbook example of this. Okay, Abraham Lincoln is viewed as almost a saintly figure in our country, right? Abraham Lincoln, right? But he was a crook. Abraham Lincoln, before he was president, was the attorney for the Google of the day, the railroads, right? Abraham Lincoln authorized the building of the Intercontinental Railroad, okay? He made a deal with the railroad companies to pay them by the mile. So what do you think the railroad companies did? And Lincoln knew this. He paid them by the mile, Lincoln, for the Intercontinental Railroad. So what did the railroads do?
They expanded their railroad.
It zigzags. America was empty. America was empty then, right? There weren't that many cities. It zigzags across the continent. It wasn't a straight line. And Lincoln knew what he was doing. That was a payoff to his buddies because he was a railroad attorney. He was a corporate lawyer, Abraham Lincoln. So even Abraham Lincoln, another one, George Washington. Everyone loves General Washington. I love George Washington. You think it's just a coincidence that the Capitol, they built a whole new city right up the road from his house? Or do you think that was crooked? You know, so they've always, the government, there's too much, they're always crooked. They're always going to be crooked. Shocker. Unless their name's Trump. All right, take care. Take care. All right. Okay. Medicare open enrollment, guys. You know, Medicare open enrollment period, once it's gone, that's it. You know, Medicare open enrollment is the only time of year that you can make changes to your existing Medicare policy. Okay? So, yeah, that's right. So you want to call Debbie at I Will Advisor. She can help you no matter where you are in the state of Florida. And remember, Debbie Klatzoff and her family have been with the Steve Kane Show since 1993, helping each year Steve Kane listeners with their Medicare. She'll review your policy at no charge, make sure you have the right policy. If you have a supplement, she'll make sure that you're not paying too much. Our weekend guy, Al Knight, took his mother into Debbie at I Will Advisors. She reviewed her policy and saved Al Knight's mom $400 a month. $400 a month off her Medicare supplement. That's $4,800 a year. Wow. That's a lot of money, especially if you're retired. So give Debbie at I Will Advisors a call. Again, she can help you with your Medicare no matter where you are in the state of Florida. 954-753-8080. You got it? 954 or 754-753. Let me do it again. 954-753-8080. I've been giving this number out for like 25 years. You would think I would know it by now. The one I don't look at my copybook for. 954-753-8080. I'm going to have to do a make good spot on this one. 954-753-8080. 954-753-8080. All right, let me give it again. 954-753-8080. Or Debbie at I Will Advisors. All right, if you're on hold, hang in there. I'm Brian. It's the Steve Kane Show. Back after this.
Don't sit on the sidelines. Get in on the action. Call the Steve Kane Show live on air now. 888-GO-KANE-1. This is the Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig.
Oh, yeah. I got to share this. Oh boy, guys. Welcome. If you're new, guys, make sure that you subscribe to the channel, all right? They're never going to have term limits, guys. They would have to vote on it themselves. They're not going to vote themselves out of work. Not going to happen.
On 95.3 FM, Fort Lauderdale on 96.9 FM, and anywhere in the world at True Oldies.
All right, welcome back. Call us on hold, stand by. It's the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest-running radio show. My name is Brian Craig. Okay, I want to play this audio from AOC because she's really plotting here. By the way, AOC is not pregnant. She's just a drunk, okay? She's drink. Look at her eyes. She's not Do you think that guy she's engaged to, they have that kind of sex, those two? Have you seen that guy? My goodness. But look at her eyes. AOC is not pregnant. She's just getting fat from drinking. And you can see how hungover she is all the time with the puffy eyes. But anyway, AOC, she put a video out yesterday, and she's asking some questions. So let me play this for you guys. Listen, this is AOC yesterday.
Which podcasts are you listening to? Which accounts are you subscribing to? I'm interested, like genuinely.
Oh, I bet.
Let me know which ones specifically, which accounts, which podcasts, etc. Which...
Okay. I don't think I have to tell you guys what AOC is doing here. You know what she's doing. She's compiling an enemies list is what she's doing. AOC and her squad are sitting around, well, why'd we lose? Oh, yeah. It's X. It's all these people on X. It's these podcasters. So she is attempting, probably in a drunken state, but AOC is attempting to put together an enemy list of people to target and podcasts to target and people on social media to target that she is blaming for Kamala's loss. I got to tell you something. Donald Trump's re-election and winning the popular vote has saved us from so much from these very evil, evil people on the left. All right, let's go back to our very busy phones. You're on the radio. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Yeah, hey, good morning, Brian. It's Juan.
Hey, Juan.
Hey, listen, you just mentioned something that is so poignant, and that is to say that Abe Lincoln, was a corporatist. Nowadays, we would consider him a corporatist. And like you said, he's a saint because, he liberated the black population.
Yes.
So to speak, from apartheid. But you know what? As a result of those the curves and everything, you're a historian.
What, they build towns? I know, they build towns along the route, yes.
Exactly.
Oh, my goodness.
Cause prosperity. But here's the thing, though. As far as Governor Ron DeSantis.
That's nonsense. The country was empty. There were like 2 cities, St. Louis, and that's it. All the way across America. The towns would have come. It would have been, if they would have built the train in a straight line, the towns would have come, too. I'm just saying, government's always corrupt, is the point of that.
Absolutely, and this is my other point. Governor Ron DeSantis, I don't agree with everything that he's done, but I support him because, what he did was keep the filth out of our schools, because I got young kids, and I'm still concerned, and as you know, he has fortified our schools, and that's something that I pay attention to, because,
Who has fortified our schools? Oh, DeSantis?
Yeah, because,
Yes.
Personally, because my son, as you know, was in that school shooting in Parkland on that fateful day.
Yes.
Having said that, you make deals with the devil all the time. And I don't agree with Jeb Bush standing there, even though he was a good governor. He was a good governor.
Oh, Jeb Bush, as crazy as you can't trust Jeb Bush, but anymore. But he was a great governor. He was yeah. But that was a long time ago.
You cannot trust anybody that's not a MAGA-nite. I call them MAGA-nites. I don't trust these
MAGA-nites.
Yeah, it's kind of like a biblical term.
Okay.
Canaanites or whatever.
I know, I get it. It's not...
these milquetoast Republicans. And like Richie said earlier, we need to get out in front and get Rick Scott elected in the so that way everything that Trump wants, it gets passed. And I know that Trump is on top of this. And I think.
Listen, I told you. I said this yesterday. I'll say it again. I want Rick Scott. I love Rick Scott. He's great. Whoever becomes the Republican leader in the Senate, the majority leader, it'll be who Trump wants it to be. And if it's not Rick Scott and it's one of these jerks, believe me, Trump will have made a deal and have them in line. I'm not worried about it. Does Trump seem worried about it?
That's why I call into the show. It's partly to get more information from you directly, because you've been spot on a lot of things, and as a result,
Trump's got everything under control. I mean, you guys were calling me a week ago. Well, they're going to do this, they're going to do that. It's hopeless. And look, he won the popular vote.
Anything else?
Yeah, and he dodged a speeding bullet. You may have seen it in Butler. Remember that? He dodged a speeding bullet.
Absolutely. All right, Brian.
All right, take care. You're on the radio. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Morning, Brian. This is Bill from Sanford, Florida. Howard.
All right, Bill. What's up?
Well, I looked up the fact of governors appointing themselves. Out of 9 in recent history, only 8 were successful in getting reelected.
Mm-hmm.
Was successful in getting reelected. People don't like that.
No.
The other thing is, if Trump appoints DeSantis as a FEMA director, he gets a pay raise. He's only making $141,000. I looked up FEMA; it's $150,000 to $210,000. He will have a job for the next 12 years if he's directed.
12 years. Well, it's a FEMA director though isn't. It's not one of those jobs you move up from.
Where's he going to work? What skills does he have? He's not.
I'll tell you this: he doesn't want to have to go out and work at a law practice. He's never done that before.
The other thing is that if that happens, then he would resign, and Nunes would then appoint the next senator. And if Trump makes a deal with Nunes, then that could be
the lieutenant governor. I've never really even heard her. I heard her speak Spanish once. Our lieutenant governor, I've never really heard her talk, and I've heard people say she's kind of liberal. I don't know too much about her.
But I'm just saying that's a scenario that could.
But if Marco Rubio is going to be the Secretary of State, we're going to have a Senate vacancy, and my first pick is Byron Donalds.
Oh yeah, absolutely. But how get appointed?
DeSantis.
How does Trump make DeSantis do that? That's the problem.
Again, this depends on how in tune with reality DeSantis is. All right? DeSantis may not understand that he's unelectable in Florida. But I don't care what Richie says. Every MAGA person I talk to, not just here, but in private, they don't trust him. The only way that we would vote for him is if it was him versus a Democrat on the ballot. He couldn't get through a primary process, I don't believe, okay?
The 8 out of 9 have never been reelected.
So if DeSantis is in touch with reality and understands he's unelectable, he's got to start worrying about what he's going to do in 2 years. So the FEMA job, he might want it. Or if he's out of touch with reality, he may think he could be the senator and have that for life. I'm sorry to see Marco leave because I thought Marco Rubio would be our senator for the rest of his life. I wanted him there forever and ever. He's great, and they love him, and everybody loves Marco Rubio in Florida. That's a Republican.
Well, if Marco Rubio agrees to that, that's the best scenario. I agree with you. I wish he would.
But you guys got to understand. This is something you got to understand. This is a MAGA state. However, the state legislature in Florida is run by Bush Republicans in Jeb's image. Okay, like Ron DeSantis. So when that Senate vacancy opens up, we could end up with a rhino senator from Florida. And I find it. But listen, there's no way that Trump is plucking Marco out of that Senate seat without knowing who's going to go in the spot. He's got a plan. There's no way. The Senate votes are too important. He doesn't want to sabotage himself with some rhino senator from Florida like a Romney.
Well, I don't know the credibility of the fact that Rubio's going to be appointed to.
It's being reported everywhere that Trump's going to make him the Secretary of State. It's not been confirmed yet, but it's, you know.
I want to see Rick Grinnell in that position.
I'm surprised because I thought Rick Grinnell would too be the pick. But President Trump's got his reasons, but he hasn't picked him yet. It's just right. It hasn't happened yet, has it? Have I heard? I haven't heard President Trump say it yet. Did he post it on Truth?
I trust Trump.
Absolutely, you've got to. All right, take care. All right, appreciate the call. All right, if you're on hold, hang in there. We'll take our break for the bottom of the hour and be right back.
Making morning radio great again. It's the Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig. The greatest rock and roll hits of the 60s and 70s coming up this morning. From the all-year cooling weather
Let me
center.
just make sure I got the right sound.
For same-day AC service and installation. Here's your all-days forecast.
Good morning. This is Jeremy Simon from the
Yes.
All-Year Cooling Weather Center. Today is a beautiful day in South Florida with highs in the mid-80s, sunny skies, and no chances of rain. So stay cool, have a great Tuesday, and keep it right here on the True Oldies channel.
Weather brought to you by All Year Cooling. Enjoy free AC replacement estimates along with same-day service and installation. Visit allyearcooling.com to schedule your service today. And remember, the All Year family is here to serve your family.
I gotta.
These traffic check brought to you by the Palm Beach Kennel Club.
Nice driving out there, 95 up to speed in both directions. Not seeing anything major going on the turnpike. We do have a couple of construction projects to tell you about on the turnpike. One at the B-line and the other at Martin Highway. Widening project going on there. Watch out for the flyers as you pass by. This report brought to you by Lowe's. Shop early, save big all month long. Like Black Friday build-up at Lowe's. Get a free
Election kind of dials.
Combo kit because Lowe's knows deals down at 11/7.
Donald Trump, he just didn't win.
While supplies last. There's traffic on Billy Cole.
Traffic, a service of the Palm Beach Kennel Club. Poker Room at PBKC is open every day with 65 tables of action, including cash games, high hands, mega bad beat jackpots, and exciting tournaments. Bet small and win
It's like
big
one of
with
those
table
shows
games
where
like
the celebrity gets roasted. That's what's happening to actress Jennifer Lawrence after she made an absurd comment. In a recent interview with Variety, she made the self-aggrandizing lead with a female lead.
Yep.
So we have a call at
One critic
8:14 as well.
Oh yeah, Barry Siegel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the first one shouldn't take that long.
No.
Sorry, what? Jimmy Fallon. And Angelina Jolie is Lara Croft in Tomb Raider. Yeah, she was awesome. Jimmy Fallon.
I thought it was Fowler.
I did too.
Is there a recorded commercial with him about him? Can you play that in the next break so I can hear it?
Yeah.
I want to make sure I say his name right. I think it's Fowler.
You're saying there's a commercial within...
There's got to be a commercial for the Kennel Club.
Okay.
Promoting the thing because it's this weekend.
Yeah.
So yeah, if you could play it in the next commercial, play it off the air. Make sure it's the one with his name in it. And I'll listen, and make sure I want to say his name right.
To the cinema to save, correct? Because the gas run.
Medicare recipients, listen up. Open enrollment is the only time of year you can make changes to your existing Medicare plan. Call Debbie and I,
Trying to figure out
no matter where you're located in the state of Florida, for expert help. Visit
Jimmy Fallon with us this.
Fallon. They say Fallon. Is it Jimmy Fallon or Jimmy Fallon? They scheduled him on, the comedian on Fox. They scheduled him on the show today. And I'm not sure. I don't want to say his name wrong. I didn't know it was today. So I'm not sure if it's Fallon or Fallon. I got to know.
Jimmy Fallon with us.
Fallon? Did he say Fallon?
Jimmy Fallon with us.
Yeah, he said Fallon. Fallon? Yes or no, guys? Yeah, he said Fallon.
With us this morning, Jimmy. You and I agree. Jimmy Fallon with.
Jimmy Fallon. Okay. Fela. I think it's Fela. Yeah, Jimmy Fela. Fela? F-A-Y-L-A, phonetically. Jimmy Fela. I don't want to say his name wrong. I'll look like a jerk. Fela. Jimmy Fela, right? I usually have these things figured out before, but I didn't know the interview was going to be today. I got to figure it out soon.
Celebrating 47.
All right. See, if you guys watch on YouTube, you get all the behind the scenes. All right, 32 minutes after the hour. My name is Brian. You're listening to The Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest running radio show. So President Trump has been making all kinds of incredible announcements, and this is a great one. Listen to this, and we'll talk about this a little bit. Let me cue it up. Here we go. President Trump.
And one other thing I'll be doing very early in the administration is closing up the Department of Education in Washington, D.C., and sending all education and education work and needs back to the states. We want them to run the education of our children because they'll do a much better job of it. You can't do worse. We spend more money per pupil by 3 times than any other nation, and yet we're absolutely at the bottom. We're one of the worst. So you can't do worse. We're going to end education coming out of Washington, D.C. We're going to close it up, all those buildings all over the place, and you have people that in many cases hate our children. We're going to send it all back to the states. Thank you very much.
Okay. Now this is an interesting thing here. President Trump, and if you remember, you go back to the first campaign. I remember Paul Ryan was always giving Trump grief. And I remember Paul Ryan and some other snake rhinos were making this big deal about Trump signing the Republican Party platform. Remember, that was so ridiculous. Of course, he signed off on it, and then what did he do? Donald Trump in the first term what he did was the worst nightmare of the rhinos. Not only did Donald Trump sign on and agree with the Republican Party platform, he went out and accomplished everything on it, like overturning Roe v. Wade. And the Democrats and the Republicans that are the establishment have one thing in common. They never want to accomplish what they're talking about. They want to always keep you on the edge. So the Republican establishment, with some rare exceptions prior to Trump, always wanted you to think they were going to overturn Roe v. Wade, even though they never made a move to do it. They always wanted you to think they were going to abolish the Department of Education, even though they had never made a move to do it. And this is an example of Donald Trump, yet again, doing what the Republican Party has been talking about doing for years, abolishing the Department of Education. And this is a really amazing thing, if you think about it. So much of the garbage that's going on in our schools is because of the Department of Education. The Department of Education, they use federal money to control the schools. That's why America's schools are filled with DEI, critical race theory, books on anti-racism. Instead of Profiles in Courage and Huck Finn, they're reading Toni Morrison and How to Be an Anti-Racist. Oops, it's all because of the Department of Education. That's why you have so many transgender flags up in classrooms and all this stuff. And, what'll happen when, and just like Roe v. Wade, turning it back to the states, what Trump's talking about here with the Department of Education is amazing. That means, because the caller before the bottom of the hour was talking about the things that DeSantis did here in Florida. He did some things in Florida ending all this stuff, right? Those sex books you can't just, show to the kids. I know people like to say they banned books. In public schools, you just can't share with students any book you want to share. There's an approved curriculum that you teach from, all right? You just can't bring your favorite books and have the kids read them. They have to be approved curriculum. Every state does that. So what would the result of this be? It'd be absolutely amazing. Some states, like Florida, would have much more conservative schools. The states would come in. They don't, the federal government wouldn't be able to strong-arm them into all this DEI, anti-racism, or whatever other nonsense they're promoting. They would do what they wanted. But a state like California they're going to pledge allegiance to the transgender flag every morning and do other weirdo things, okay? They're going to spend Fridays learning how to put condoms on and stuff like that in these liberal states. So where the liberals control things like California, the schools are going to be out of control. In places like Florida and Bible Belt places, they're going to be more conservative. So what would that mean? Well, I'll give you an example with me. When my wife and I bought our house, and I've mentioned this many times, we've lived in this house over 20 years. We bought the house the summer before my daughter started kindergarten. And we did that on purpose. We were living in a condo before. We didn't want our daughter, we wanted her to grow up in a house on a condo, and we didn't like the schools in the neighborhood of the condo. And the house we bought it for a number of reasons, but one of the number one reasons we bought the house we bought is because the school's in the zone of the house. And my daughter got a very good public school education, and her middle school, and in particular her high school, her elementary school, very good too, but my daughter's middle school and high school, I would put up against most every private school in America. She received a very upper level education, especially for public school, but even better than a lot of private schools. The programs they have, that good. And we moved to the neighborhood because of that. Well, if Trump abolishes the Department of Education, and different states have different types of education systems, some very uber conservative, like we'll have in Florida, and some weird stuff where they're handing out, condoms all day to elementary school students and putting them on bananas in California, people will move to states that have an education system that they want their children brought up in. If you want your kids growing up learning about God and the Bible and the greatness of America, you'll move to Florida. If you want your kids to learn about St. George Floyd, you'll move to California. And one of the problems that we're having in this country today is that the states are too mixed up demographically. Long ago, states were, strong red, strong blue, strong conservative, strong liberal. There's been so much migration, there's a lot of confusion going on, and a lot of divisions. And people would get, in this country, the country would get along much better if people are living in a state where they're kind of like-minded on these social issue things. So him getting rid of the Department of Education, I don't know how easy that is to do. It's a government department. It's a cabinet position. Was it Jimmy Carter that started that nonsense? And then if he could work on the Department of Energy, oh, man, just think about it. But the Department of Education gets in the way of education. And if you notice, one of the first things President Trump did after he won last week is talked about that year-long United States fair that he wants to have at the fairgrounds, kind of like a world fair every year at the Iowa State Fair grounds, celebrating America. What that is about, the reason he announced that, is it's a direct counter to all this left-wing critical race theory and all this nonsense that they've been polluting our schools with. Kids today in school learn that America is a bad place. That 1619 Project nonsense. They teach that in school, that 1619 Project. That's part of classroom curriculum throughout this country in many areas. And young people today, all they learn about America is from a negative perspective. When I was growing up, and most of you out there, unless you're a millennial, if you're a millennial or younger, you didn't learn proper American history or civics or anything. You don't understand anything about this country. And that's in large part because Obama, what we just survived through, I was talking about this a little bit yesterday. We just survived Obamaism. And, Obama and those around him, they have spent the last 15 years recruiting left-wing radical nutbags to be school teachers in our public schools. And that's why a lot of this weirdness is going on. And I told you guys the last 4 years, I've been telling you guys that when Trump comes back into his second term, a lot of this nonsense is going to disappear. You're already seeing on MSNBC and some other liberal places a big rebellion away from this transgender sports thing. This idea that a guy can say he's a girl and then beat the crap out of real girls in a boxing match at the Olympics, those days are over. Okay? And what I'm starting to realize is this: a lot of Democrats that consider themselves liberal don't agree with the transgendered sports, the transgender drag queens, and the military and all of this, but they've been really bullied into supporting it. And Trump winning the popular vote has liberated a lot of people in this country to start to understand that all this wackadoodle nonsense is a very minority viewpoint. I'm really curious, who these picks that Trump has been making are spectacular. Stephen Miller, I love Stephen Miller. I mean, when there's a Trump rally and Stephen Miller comes out to talk, I stop whatever I'm doing and listen to every word Stephen Miller has to say. He is the best. These picks so far have been perfect picks by President Trump. But I'm really waiting for him to pick the defense secretary. And because what are they going to do about these soldiers, airmen, and Marines and all these people that are making these videos in uniform in drag? I turn on C-SPAN and there's a conference of high-ranking military officers and it's guys in skirts. You've seen this, right? And they sit around and pat themselves on the back that they're transgender in the service and they're a colonel or something. That stuff's got to stop. And there's going to be, by whoever is the defense secretary in Trump's second term, they're going to have to get our military in order. And one of the first things they have to do is stop that crap. I don't think it's going to be as unpopular as people think. Okay? This idea that most people support this no one's against people being transgender. Okay? But there's certain instances where it should not be allowed. One, the military. The military, are supposed to scare people, not make them laugh, okay, and look like a joke. All right, our number is 1-888-465-2631, 888-465-2631. If you're on hold, stand by. We'll take our last break of the second hour, come back with your calls and much, much more. I want to tell you guys about Debbie at I Will Advisors Medicare open enrollment period. I'll get the number perfect this time. Medicare open enrollment period is the only time of year that you can make changes to your existing Medicare plan. Debbie from I Will Advisors can help you wherever you are in the state of Florida. She'll review your policy at no charge. I'm going to give you her number. When you call, if you get an answering machine, leave your name and number, and Debbie at I Will Advisors will call you back. 954-753-8080. Remember, her family, the Klansoff family, have been with the Steve Kane Show since 1993, helping Steve Kane listeners each and every year with their Medicare, and she'll help you too, no matter where you are in the state of Florida. 954-753-8080. 954-753-8080. We'll be right back.
The cold, hard truth. Delivered morning 6 to 9 right here on The Steve Kane Show. The Jupiter Joe Money Show presents Christmas Oldies at Noon.
I couldn't find a commercial. Do you have any idea where one would be?
No. I don't know what it would be labeled.
I looked it up on YouTube, tried to figure out how to say it. Can I say it?
I think it's Fela.
Yeah,
It's Fela. You think it's Fela too? Yeah, I think it's Fela too. I thought I had no problem with it till I was watching something and they pronounced it wrong. I'm pretty sure it's Fela.
Yeah.
But he's calling us. So his number is on that email, and it'll show up on this.
At the bottom, I think, right?
It'll show up on this and on the phone.
Okay. What if all the lines are taken out?
I'll make sure there's a line free.
Okay.
Yeah, but you'll see it come in.
Okay, thanks.
$10,000 deposit. If your job is $300,000, that's $100,000. What are they doing with your money? Typically, it's
takes 3 to 4 weeks to get a permit, and HOAs, much longer. If they need money for the materials, they don't have credit with the suppliers, and that spells bad news for the homeowner or HOA. Tom Laporta is honest, knowledgeable, and reliable, and he'll never sell you a roof you don't need. Laporta Contracting has been in the roof.
Now, guys, check this book out. There's a link to it in the description of the video. Over 55 and Alive. It's just 99 cents on Kindle. The audiobook is only 99 cents. Is that great? Audiobook just 99 cents. Paperback's $19.99, but the Kindle's 99 cents. The audiobook is 99 cents. Over 55 and Alive from author Michael Cook. It's a very good book, and it's for people that are in their 50s. There's a direct link in the description of the video, so you can click that, or just go to Amazon and search Over 55 and Alive from author Michael Cook. All right? Yeah, he's a good guy.
November 23rd versus DC Power Football Club. Live women's soccer action right in our backyard with Fort Lauderdale United Soccer.
Get your tickets now at ftlutd.com.
Do you suffer from neuropathy? I did, until I went to Lighthouse Medical Center in Pompano. Numbness, pain, burning, tingling in my hands and feet, muscle weakness, loss of balance, muscle twitching, have all but disappeared. So if you have neuropathy symptoms, call Lighthouse Medical Center for a free consultation. 754-222-6642.
We take on the social justice warriors for breakfast. Now, the Steve Kane Show is on.
All right. We are back. I'm Brian. It's the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest-running radio show. 1-888-465-2631 is our number. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, good morning, Brian. Great show. Chris,
Hey, Chris. What's up?
Oh, man, two real sore spots for me, certainly. The Department of Education. I was in high school in 79 when they duped the nice guy, President Jimmy Carter, and starting that department. And we've gone in a downhill spiral ever since. And what people don't realize, because, they think it's about the current election, but this goes back 50 years for me since studying in grade school when we used to get educated. People like, at that time, it was all about infiltrating the left agenda, and then as soon as they did start the Department of Education, they start forcing the hand of the schools with money.
Which is, and what they do is they bring in their liberal crap and they shove it down your throat, and they make it very difficult. Yes.
Indoctrinating. I mean, they started forcing all the schools to do these gay clubs like Glisten and all that. And then you don't realize how it snowballs. Obama, thank you for mentioning his name. He appointed that guy who started the Glisten deal as one of his education czars or something in his department. People don't know that. When I bring it up to their attention, they're like, oh. Because I'm certain to talk and debate, thanks to you guys listening to you since 07. Not to make it seem like it's my opinion and my words. And I go straight to facts and show them. They don't know who did it, or what Glisten was. They didn't know.
Well, if you look at everything Trump has done, everything he has, since he won on Tuesday, everything he's done and every move he's made has been hardcore MAGA conservative. Whether it's Homan, Stephen Miller, Kristi Noem, Marco Rubio is very tough on China. Secretary of State's a very important thing. And, everyone he has named so far, there's no rhinos in the mix.
Oh, by the way, that's a great move, too. Marco Rubio, I know he's young, and we could use him in our Senate to help out. But you know what? Grooming him, because he would be a very good, Secretary of State, a good resume builder for him to get into the executive office.
I personally believe the pick is grooming him to be candidate, maybe JD's running mate. Yeah.
Will is a good senator, but you know what? He'll be better for.
Well, it depends on who replaces him. The problem is who replaces him.
Well, hopefully someone just as good or better.
Well, we'll see.
You said the other representative, but and the other thing, I was in the Marine Corps for 6 years back in the 80s, and that's a huge distraction what they're doing. When they twisted Obama's arm and say, get rid of Don't Ask, Don't Tell, that was ridiculous. Because like you said, it's such a distraction now, and just like that, they'll take...
Well, this thing with this, and I know this is not politically correct, but I'm sorry. When there's the reason that you don't let men in the women's locker room is because the men are going to be checking out the naked women, right? That's it. So if there's a gay guy in with the guys in the bathrooms and the showers and everything. He's into naked men. He's going to be checking you. I mean, come on. That's just not appropriate.
It's a huge distraction.
I mean, how could you listen? You know, there was this one. This was a few years ago. Okay, I was at Publix with my wife, and there was this woman shopping. She had a white dress on, nothing underneath it, and you could see completely through it, everything. And she's shopping around Publix with this. And I saw all the managers following her through the whole store. And I said something, and my wife said, "Well, you're looking." I said, "Well, how can I not look? You know, how can I not look? You know." And that's what it's like if you've got a gay guy that's in the showers or the bathroom in the service with the guys. Of course they're going to look. That's what they're into. If I'm in the shower in the bathroom with the women, I'm going to be look right. How can you not look?
Exactly. I mean, it's a huge distraction, and we don't need it. And I don't know why they're allowed to continue to run rampant. And now Kamala was talking about sex changes for prisoners. I mean,
yeah, exactly.
No boundaries.
Well, that's the problem. Yeah, that's the problem with the liberals. They have zero boundaries. But you know, one of the biggest problems we have, like with this critical race theory, BLM, defund the police, this is done through the Department of Education forcing this garbage on the schools, and they have control because the federal money that goes to the school systems is how they get control.
Oh yeah, thank you, Hillary Clinton. Her famous words: "You want to learn you want to control people? You make."
That's right.
Come on.
Oh my goodness, I know. All right, appreciate the call. Take care. This is really astounding. You know, I've pointed out it's been a week since President Trump was reelected, right? A week ago today. And in the last 6 days, because we'll start the day after, we have not heard from any of our resident Democrats on this program. Not one of them. The chronic Democrats. Liberals have called in, but none of the chronic Democrats, even the big mouths like Never Trumper Steve and Liberal Al and that jerk in Sarasota. We've heard from some liberals, but none of the big mouths that are the chronics on the show. And I was looking today. This is amazing. The ratings have come out in cable news. And MSNBC is in a ratings collapse. This is since the election, the last week, right? Since last Wednesday. Joy Reid's ratings are down 54.6%. 54.6%. Chris Hayes on MSNBC, his ratings are down 47.2%. Scarborough down 40%. Stephanie Rule down 67%. Stephanie Rule is down 67% since last week. Andrea Mitchell down 40%. And I'm going to tell you, our ratings are up. You know, I get access to ratings by the hour and everything else. We have more than doubled our audience in the last few weeks, and they're still with us, okay? More than doubled our audience. And this is where MAGA comes to talk. It's going to be a good 4 years, guys. But the reason that these leftists are losing their audience is it's pretty simple. It's pretty simple. They've lost credibility with their audience. You know, God forbid, if we would have lost, we put up the good fight. But what's happened is that these leftists, they've been lying to them. This is what happened to Rachel Maddow. Remember? Rachel Maddow had a collapse over the Russia hoax. And she had a breakdown when that was debunked. And let me tell you, these people on MSNBC, they're taking a double whammy. One, they lost the election, which they thought that they were going to really be empowered and have access. I think they were caught off guard at MSNBC. They lost. I really think they were. They're dealing with the country's not with them. But when you lose more than half of your audience, or in Stephanie Rule's case, almost 70% of the audience, or 40% like Joe and Mitchell, you go on the air and your audience they're already lowly rated, and your audience is gone. That's You know, I used to do overnights. When I first started out, I used to do overnights 3 to 7 in the morning, Saturday morning. It was Friday night, Saturday morning, 3 a.m. to 7 a.m. And I would have people listening at 3 a.m., drunks and stuff. But, you know, I was new. A lot of people didn't know me. Between like 5 and 7 a.m. on a Saturday morning, it was like me and the board op. I felt like sometimes. And to be on the air and know that your audience has abandoned you like they're dealing with on MSNBC, whoo. That's not easy to do with people that have their wits about them and don't have these ego problems. These people, they all got psychological issues on MSNBC, all of them, right? They lost the election. They were caught off guard by that. There's a lot of psychological distress going on over at MSNBC. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hi, Brian. This is Rod.
Connect Creek. How you doing today?
All right, Rod. What's up?
Oh, listen, I couldn't agree with you more about the military. We've got a real problem with the military right now.
Oh, yeah.
We have ships that they can't even put out to sea because they don't have the manpower. I said manpower. And we have enlistment is way down. Re-enlistment is almost non-existent. And this has all come about drastically in the last.
Well, you know, it's like this new chairman of the Joint Chiefs that replaced Milli Vanilli. Okay, he said he's an Air Force general. He said his priority is to have more diversity among fighter pilots. Now, I got no problem with having diverse fighter pilots, but I have this crazy idea that the best of the best should be our fighter pilots, regardless of what skin color they are, right? But when your priority is to have the best black pilots or trans pilots, that's not really what the military is supposed to be doing. That's not good.
You break it down, the U.S. military is supposed to break things and kill people. That's all we're supposed to do.
And they're supposed to. And one of the big deterrents is a tough military, not a bunch of guys in evening gowns. That's not terrifying. And I know you're laughing, but it's true, right? I mean, you want to. Yeah, exactly.
I'm an old veteran, and I would love to see the military get back to the mentality, the training.
Mm-hmm.
Gone now. It's 100% gone with.
It's really, Bill Clinton ran on gays openly serving. When he became president, the military wouldn't stand for it, so he came up with the don't ask, don't tell policy, and now look where we are. Hey, listen, I got to run. Great points. Thanks so much. All right, 2 hours down, 1 to go. My name's Brian. You're listening to, of course, Florida's longest-running radio show, the Steve Kane Show, on the radio since 1977, celebrating 47 years on the radio. That's right. That's why we're the longest-running radio show. If you're on hold, hang in there. Our number 1-888-465-2631. 2 hours down, 1 to go. We're going to take our break for the top and be right back.
WSFS 104.3 HD3 Miramar, WIRK 103.1
Is that him?
HD3 Indiantown, and her in Broward on 96.9 FM, Boca Raton on 95.3 FM, West Palm Beach on 95.9 FM, and in Martin County on 106.9 FM. Programming paid for by Vic Canales Media Group. Your home for the Steve Kane Show. From the All-Year Cooling Weather Center, South Florida's #1 choice for same-day AC service and installation. Here's your oldies forecast.
Good morning. This is Jeremy Simon from the All-Year Cooling Weather
Harris
Center.
Faulkner pronounced it
Today
wrong.
is a beautiful
So
day
threw
in
me
South
off.
Florida with highs in the mid-80s, sunny skies, and no chances of rain. So stay cool, have a great Tuesday, and keep it right here on the True Oldies channel.
Weather brought to you by All-Year Cooling. Enjoy free AC replacement estimates along with same-day service and installation. Visit allyearcooling.com to schedule your service today. And remember, the All-Year family is here to serve your family all year long. And now, a True Oldies traffic check. Brought to you by the Palm Beach Kennel Club.
Problem-free on the interstate. 95 is looking great right now in both directions. Nothing major on the turnpike either. We do have problems on Florida Mango Road between 10th and Palm Road. Shut down in both directions due to emergency sewer main repair. This report brought to you by Indeed.com. Need to hire? You need Indeed. They're all in one platform helps you attract, interview, and hire candidates all from one place. And Indeed Interview Tools lets you schedule and conduct virtual interviews right from their website. Visit Indeed.com/credit. That's Traffic. I'm Billy Holmes.
Traffic, a service of the Palm Beach Kennel Club. Catch the PBKC Picks football podcast every Wednesday morning at 10 a.m. and catch football Sundays in the Paddock Restaurant with a delicious
There's who we're having on.
and a draft beer for
You
just
guys know him.
$25. And get this deal for free by calling 561-683-2222, extension 199. Watch all the games on over 140 HD TVs and big screens every football Sunday. For more info on all the upcoming shows in the Paddock, go to pbkennelclub.com.
Sloman's and their free home security system and free doorbell camera with professional installation offer is here. You finally have great news. Would you like a free doorbell camera? You get a doorbell camera, you get a doorbell camera, and you can get a doorbell camera. The first 4 True listeners who call 833-283-5050 will get this limited time offer of a free doorbell camera that connects directly to your smartphone with installation of your Sloman shield.
Yeah, right.
That's not all. Sloman's will give you a free customized home
I'm usually I had the pronunciation right until I was watching him on Harris Faulkner and she mispronounced it. That's what got me thrown off. He's hilarious. I watch him on Fox all the time.
One of the first 40 True Oldies listeners to call 833-283-5050, you'll receive a free doorbell camera with installation of your Sloman shield. Keep your family safe. Call 833-283-5050. That's 1-833-283-5050.
On the air since 1977, it's the Steve Kane Show with Brian.
All right, hour number 3 has begun. I'm Brian Craig. Welcome back. And on our celebrity hotline from Fox News Channel, Jimmy Fallon, who's going to be at the Kennel Club this Friday and Saturday. Jimmy Fallon, good morning. Look, did we lose him? I don't know. Maybe he's playing a joke on us. Jimmy, you with us? I think he put the phone down. All right, I'm going to put him on hold, and you can let me know if he comes back, all right? Because he is not there. All right, you want to check, Jeremy? I put him on hold. All right, while we're waiting for, just bang on the window and let me know if you got him back before I move on. He's not there? What happened? No? Live radio, people. This is live. This is like the old days. All right, you put him on hold. We'll see. Check back in a few minutes if he's not there. Meanwhile, Steve Kane, you with us, Steve? Oh boy. We got bumped. I was all excited to talk to Jimmy, but we'll see if he comes back. We'll pick him up in progress. Well, Steve, it's a week ago today we reelected the greatest president ever.
Unbelievable. I'm still in shock. Thrilled, of course, as everybody is.
Oh, yeah.
That Trump is just never ceases to amaze me.
Well, you know, you and I have talked about this. What happened? Did he bump us? I was looking forward to that. Okay, well, I know. He'll call back. He's got our number. You know, I will tell you this, Steve. You know, when it comes to presidents, out of one of the most important qualities of a president is them hiring the right people for the jobs that they got to fill, right? That's, you know, and look at Kamala. She got that Tim Walz jerk, and look what happened. And whoever's handling her campaign finances, they seem corrupt. But every pick in this second term has been great of Donald Trump's.
Not corrupt. They're proficient.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Well, you know, this is the thing, okay, with the campaign money. And I don't think most people are aware of how this works, okay? You're aware of part of it. You know, people that raise money, that you hear about bundlers and stuff, the fundraisers for the Democrats, those are commissioned salespeople, okay? They have a book of Democrat donors. They call them, they get a donation, they get a commission on that donation. But they also get a commission on money that's spent, right? So, like, they have like advertising agencies, right? So if you are working for the Kamala Harris campaign, and you pay Oprah Winfrey $1 million, which she's lied about, and there's paperwork that shows that they paid her $1 million, you get a commission on that, right? Like an agency commission. You get like 20. So whoever hired Oprah, they made a 6-figure commission off of that, right? So there's a lot. And I knew when this campaign was falling apart, and I talked about this once or twice. I think I talked about this on my podcast. I don't think I talked about it on the radio. They're spending money like crazy on these celebrities, because when the campaign, a lot of times when a campaign is over, they can still keep the money. But this was going to be Kamala's last campaign. So if they didn't spend the money, they had to spend the money by the time the campaign was over. So they went on this crazy spending spree of stealing.
Are you saying you don't think of that alleged, we'll call it for now alleged, I'm sure it's true, that money that Oprah got, the $1 million, you saying none of it went to Oprah?
No, she said, no, it all went to Oprah. $1 million in 2 payments of $500,000, but she denied it. Let me pull this up, okay? Oprah, let me pull it up, Steve. Oprah got a guy from the paparazzi caught Oprah on the streets walking to her car. Yeah, so, and let me play it for people, though, that may have missed it, okay? This is Oprah.
Hey, Oprah, good morning. How are you, darling? You looking very good. How do you think the election went?
Not talking about the election.
I bet.
Oh, is it true that they paid you $1 million for the endorsement for Kamala?
Not true.
Not true, okay.
Not true. Okay, well, unfortunately, there's documents that show that she got paid 2 payments of $500,000. They didn't pay it to Oprah Winfrey. They paid it to Harpo Productions, her production company. So, yeah, that's called like money laundering or something. I don't know. What do they call that? you know. But they had this. It was like Brewster's Millions. Remember Brewster's Millions, the one with Richard Pryor? He had to spend $30 million in a month. Kamala's people had a month left to spend $1 billion. And I found something out about, they paid all these celebrities, Steve, like Harrison Ford. And I found something out about celebrities the other day. They don't get residuals anymore, like in the old days, because everything is streaming now. So they don't get residuals on the streaming platforms. No, you have a lot of A-list actors, or formerly A-list, like Harrison Ford, that don't have as much money as they used to have because they don't have the residual income. So they'll do anything for money. So what's going to start happening, we already know she paid Oprah $1 million. She paid Beyonce $10 million to do one appearance for 2.5 minutes, the one in Georgia. And soon enough, we're going to get a list of how much Lady Gaga got, Bruce Springsteen, Harrison Ford, and all of them. And at the same time, and what Trump did did you see what Trump did with this? Oh, this was beautiful. This came out, this is not in the news. Okay. Too much. Okay, now, well, let me finish this. Okay, so all the celebrities like Oprah got their millions, but the vendors got nothing. The vendors are the people that, the bus companies, the guys that put up the chairs, those, you know what vendors are. They didn't get paid. Do you see what Trump's going to do?
He's picking up the tab.
He's offering to pay the vendors. There'll be new MAGA people. He's going to red pill them with RNC money. The RNC has plenty of money. He'll pay the vendors with the RNC money.
Because he got a lot of free advertising.
And he's good, yeah.
It was for nothing.
And he's going to turn them into MAGA people because they're going to get paid. And after they got stiffed, so that Oprah and Beyonce and Springsteen could get paid. It is spectacularly brilliant. But just think about what would have happened if these crooks were running the country.
That's the interesting part. It boggles the mind. And it gives you an idea if they throw around money like that when it's supposedly their money. It's not their money, but I mean...
Yeah, donor money.
Donor money. You can only imagine what they do with our tax dollars.
And they're still trying to raise money because they're in debt. So they're still trying to raise money, the Kamala campaign.
He's offering to pay for.
He's offering to pay the vendors. The vendors, not Beyonce, not Bruce Springsteen or Harrison Ford. I can't wait to get because all this, because it's a political campaign. There's some crime that's been done here. Now, I wanted to talk to you because we haven't talked this week. about this FEMA lady, okay? And I'm going to well, did they? There's a few things about this. I'm talking about the FEMA lady who told her, and by the way, that was here in Florida. That was here in Florida, not North Carolina, Florida. That she told her people not to help people that had Trump signage on their properties, which could be a bumper sticker on a car, right? Or a flag or anything. And I'm not sure she was fired or if they let her quit. I don't know how long she's worked for the government, so...
She was fired.
Yeah, but I don't... First off, she should be arrested, because what she did is criminal.
Not dropping it from what I...
But I don't know if I buy this fired thing. Was she allowed to quit? Even if she was fired, was she with the government long enough to have a pension, which she should not have any government benefits? What she did was criminal. But I think it was a little worse than what they're describing. The woman's black. I think it was just old-fashioned racism. I think she just really was saying, don't help Whitey. That's what I think she was doing. I think it was racism more so than just MAGA people. It was a mix of both, but that makes it a hate crime. Liberals are all into hate crimes, and this is a big deal. And don't buy this story where FEMA released a statement saying, we don't tolerate this.
The new administration is going to handle it when they come into power. Already announced?
Well, they're not there. Yeah, but they're not there yet. And FEMA, the media are really brushing this under the rug, and they're saying, well, this is some scary stuff, Steve, because a lot of people got to go. They got to gut all of FEMA, and I'll tell you why. FEMA's released a statement, oh, we don't count and all this crap. Really? When she made the announcement not to help the MAGA people, not to help the Trump people, not to help Whitey, I didn't hear anything about anyone intervening or turning her in, okay? This is how they began to do their work. No one said, you can't do that, right? No one said you can't do that. She gave the command, and they did it, apparently. So what I'm telling you is there's an atmosphere of FEMA where this type of order, this type of action, this type of talk is acceptable. Okay? No, they got caught later. They got caught later somehow. But when it happened, she got away with it. Okay? It wasn't on the spot where someone went and turned her in right away to the inspector general and they did something about it. Time went by and this was allowed to happen. So no, what are these liberal words? There's a culture of hate at FEMA. Okay, this would be like, Steve, if there was a mass shooting event, like as an example, what happened at Butler, right? That was a mass shooting event, and the ER doctor says, okay, the people wearing Trump shirts, they don't get help first. Help the people without Trump shirts first. Okay, after a mass, it's the exact same thing.
Let's differentiate between what's going on up till now and what happens from here on. Are you saying that you don't think the new administration is going to properly examine this once?
Steve, that's a couple months away. I'm talking about now, and you know the way things go. There's the Trump administration is very, very busy and has a lot on their hands. 2 months is like 10 years, okay? And the media are going to disappear this story. And I'm here to tell you there is a culture of hate at FEMA that, and these are bureaucrats that go from one administration to the next, Steve. This has been brewing since the Obama years. So it's more than this lady.
I understand, but when they fired this lady, that let me know.
We don't know that she's been fired.
I believe she has been fired, from what I read in the paper. I mean, if you're going to stop believing everything you...
No, Steve. But you can be fired and still have your government pension, or you can be fired and not have any benefits because you did something criminal.
Believe in the new administration.
No, Steve. No, you're not hearing what I'm saying. The FEMA. Okay, the head of FEMA is a political appointee. Every administration brings in a new FEMA head. That's a political appointee. But the people that work for the agency are bureaucrats that go from administration to administration like any other government agency. And what I'm here to tell you is that the bureaucrats that work throughout FEMA are like this woman. And and nobody in the media is talking about that. FEMA's all got to go, because when she gave that disgusting command to her people, no one stood up against it. It just was like normal.
It's the new administration that we believe in has said they're going to do a thorough investigation, and I believe them.
I do too, but that's 2 months until they're in. I'm dealing with, I can't say, okay, we're not going to talk about anything for 2 months. We're going to take a break. We'll be back January 21st. I mean, what do you do? I don't understand, Steve. We got to talk about what's going on now. No, it's not. This is what's running the country right now. And what I'm trying to tell you is the bureaucracy of the United States federal government is like this. We've got a hostile, and I know Trump is aware of this because he dealt with them in his first term. We have a bureaucracy that's like FEMA, hostile to anyone who is MAGA.
Right. I think it has become public. I think we being the new incoming administration that we are excited about and that we believe in, I believe, actually, I think it's more specific than that. I think Musk is going to be getting rid of deep cuts in the bureau.
Oh, yeah. That's why the education department's toast. Listen, we got to take our break, okay? So if you're on hold, hang in there. You're listening to The Steve Kane Show. I'm Brian. Steve is here. We'll be right back.
Sidelines. Get in on the action. Call the Steve Kane Show live on air now. 888-GO-KANE-1. This is the Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig.
All right, it's time to check in with Attorney Barry Siegel from the Siegel Law Group. Attorney Barry Siegel, good morning.
How are you doing?
All right, Barry. Steve. Yeah. You back with us, Steve? Okay. Yeah. Okay. We're all here. we're having a rough morning, Barry. Things are not going as planned today, but that's okay.
Okay. Well, at least I'm happy.
Yesterday, so.
Oh, great.
Following the Dolphins had a big win finally. So anyway, what I wanted to talk about today is, here we are, like mid-November, about 6 weeks left in the year, and we're all going to start hearing about New Year's resolutions as we come closer to the new year. But what about our New Year's resolutions for 2024? How many of us had updating our estate plan or even getting an estate plan if we don't have one on our list? And as we know, it's one of those things that people tend to procrastinate getting their estate planning updated or getting it done. So you have 6 weeks now, and the process takes a few weeks to get the whole thing done. So now is the time to get started if you want to keep your New Year's resolution for 2024 of updating your estate plan, getting your estate plan done, protecting yourself and your loved ones, and having that peace of mind that comes along with that. And there's really two ways of getting started. One, you just call our office or go to our website and schedule your free consultation, or you could attend one of our upcoming workshops. We do have one in Boca Raton coming up on Thursday, this Thursday, the 14th at 10 a.m. I think it's pretty fully booked, although there may be a couple of spots left if anybody's interested.
All right. Well, listen, give the Siegel Law Group a call. Now, remember, no matter where you are in the state of Florida, the Siegel Law Group can help. And if you want information on the workshops, give them a call. They'll let you know if there's space or not, or let you know about the next one. These do fill up. These do fill up quick. So if they tell you there's one coming up, you want to lock in your spot. The number is 855-FLA-3782. 855-FLA-3782, and online, SiegelLawGroup.com. All right, Attorney Barry Siegel, we will talk later in the week.
All right. Thank you, guys.
All right. We'll be right back.
Now back to the Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig. Listen in the Palm Beaches on 95.9 FM, the Treasure Coast on 106.9 FM, Harrison Boca on 95.3 FM, Fort Lauderdale on 96.9 FM, and anywhere in the world at TrueOldiesFLA.com.
All right. You know, Steve, those red and blue maps that we always see after elections? Okay, there's a new one out from a perspective I've never seen before. Listen to this, 86.72%, so that's 87% of the landmass of America went for Trump. 13.28% went Democrat. And what I've noticed in the last 6 days are conservatives, MAGA, coming out of the closet like crazy. And even if you look at what's going on in cable news, there's Democrats on CNN that have come out against the transgender sports stuff for the first time. I'm seeing more MAGA hats than ever. All kinds of things are going on. And I think, yeah, there's been a lot of people that have been, maybe they're lifelong Democrats, but the Democrat Party has gotten too radical for them, right? And they become anti-Semitic, pro-Hamas, transgender, anti-white, critical race theory, racism. And a lot of Democrats are feeling liberated, and a lot of MAGA have been in the closet, that silent majority that Ronald Reagan used to talk about. And it's amazing. Winning 49 states with as much movement as there have been of people in the country is nearly impossible. It's not the same country it was in the 80s. But when you break it down like this, and the country went, 87% of the landmass went for Trump. And then there was this other map I was talking about yesterday, that the only states that Democrats won, which means all, and there aren't that many, the blue states, the only states Democrats won are states that don't require voter ID. The Democrats did not win a single state that requires voter ID. Yeah, they didn't win a single state, the Democrats, that requires photo ID. That tells you everything.
We predicted at the beginning of this whole thing. What has happened is the American people, things were getting worse. And I'm talking about now the wokeness.
Yeah.
To this, things were getting worse and worse and worse, and you could see it was building towards an explosion
of
some kind. And the question was, were we going to land on our feet and still have? Was the country going to dissolve as a result of this?
Yeah.
And the answer to that question, thanks to Donald Trump, is the country is going to survive and is going to be healthy, and we've all been vindicated.
And at the end of the last hour, I was going through the ratings over at MSNBC. They've lost, some of their shows have lost 70% of their viewers in the last 6 days. Rachel Maddow's numbers were not there. They didn't give those.
That tells you something.
Yeah. And, I was trying to explain to people, Steve and I don't have this experience as much as others, but to be on the air and your audience has left you and there's no one there, it's not easy to get through a show with that kind of feeling. It's a horrible feeling. Yeah. Steve and I filled in for somebody that had no audience. We experienced it once. No. Anybody in broadcasting has had that experience. If you've worked at some small station or something somewhere where you feel like there's no one listening, And that's what's going on over at MSNBC and CNN right now.
Theater, though.
Not for them.
Well, not for them, but I mean for everybody else. I don't even watch conservative shows since this thing has happened.
Mm-hmm.
It's fun watching the liberals, how they cope with it and try to cope.
Well, yesterday I was watching, Stephen Miller, who was picked as the deputy chief of staff by President Trump. Yeah, exactly. I mean, Stephen Miller's the best. And I was watching, let me see if I can pull this up. I was watching Dana Bash on CNN, and it's really hilarious because she put together a montage of Stephen Miller that she thinks are going to wake people up and turn them against Trump and be like, what did I do? But what it actually does is the only people that are surprised by it are her. Let me pull this up. Stephen Miller is great. He's the best. And this deputy chief of staff title is really not, he's going to be much more than that. Okay? That's just, some of these people that are going to be in charge of doing some very important things like Stephen Miller, Trump has given them jobs on purpose that don't require congressional hearing approval, that he can just hire, right? Because first he wants to get them right, like the border czar. Yeah, that doesn't have to go, Kristi Noem, as Homeland Security Secretary, is going to have to go through congressional, a Senate hearing, confirmation hearing. The border czar and Miller, they're not going to have to. They're going to be hard at work. So let me play this. This really cracks me up. So this is Dana Bash on CNN. It just came out that President Trump has hired Stephen Miller, who we all love, and Dana Bash, who's not looking too happy, talks about it. Listen.
Before we get started on our discussion, I just want to play a little bit of a flavor of Stephen Miller, who he is, what he says, and what he believes.
And I like how a little flavor, like we don't know what we voted for, right? You guys, you voted for Trump. This is what you're getting, right?
America is for Americans and Americans only.
You have two policy objectives that you proceed with utter determination on. Seal the border, no illegals in, everyone here goes out. That's very straightforward. You would establish large-scale staging grounds for removal flights. So you grab illegal immigrants and then you move them to the staging grounds, and that's where the planes are waiting for federal law enforcement to then move those illegals home. You deputize the National Guard to carry out immigration enforcement.
I remember when Stephen Miller was a press secretary to
Okay, so she put together this montage, and you're supposed to watch and be like, oh my goodness, what did we vote for? This is what we've wanted. Don't you understand? I mean, this guy speaks for us. This is like any MAGA person off the street talking. Trump has picked perfect people. He hasn't picked one person who's some rhino that doesn't say what you're thinking. So, no, Dana Bash, we're not putting our hands on our head wondering what we've done. We're applauding Trump for these perfect picks. They don't get it, Steve. They just don't get it. All right, now listen, we're going to take our bottom of the hour break. If you're on hold, stand by. Our number is toll-free, 1-888-465-2631. I'm Brian. Steve Kane is here. We'll be right back.
Radio great again. I think you're going to really love it. It's the Steve Kane Show.
I asked Mike for his number, but he doesn't know his number.
That's okay.
Okay.
Something, he might have thought he was going right on at 8.
He probably did. That's what I was thinking, too.
Which he does a radio show. He should know better.
Yeah.
You know?
But Tara, I want to talk to you first about some breaking news that we're just getting in here at CNN. President-elect Trump is expected to announce in the coming days that Stephen Miller, his top immigration advisor, will serve as White House Deputy Chief of Staff for Policy. Tara, you know Stephen Miller's politics and his policy ideas all too well. We should remind our viewers he was one of the architects of the family separation policy during the first Trump administration. That policy, for viewers who don't remember it.
Oh, this is great.
Gonna win the House. He won the Senate. For all effects and purposes, he's got the Supreme Court.
I say we pass a law that requires anyone who voted for that orange piece of shit.
Okay. I'm thrown off. That's right, we won. Now, guys, I just pinned a link to an Etsy shop in both of the live chats. It's also in the description of the videos. If you could click that link and check out that shop, I'd appreciate it. Also, there's a link in the description of the video if you're not watching live. Goose Printing on Etsy. Check them out. The link is pinned in the chat, and it's also in the description of the videos, guys.
Our relationship with the Steve Kane Show and the show's listeners keeps getting stronger and stronger. The Steve Kane Show listeners are truly the best customers we have ever had. They are
I'd appreciate it.
Intelligent, honest, and quite a joy.
Oh, man.
We have completed thousands of projects for the listeners, from repairs, single-family homes, large HOA complexes, and churches, with great success, and every one of those customers are like family. We have installed all kinds of roofs, from asphalt shingles, clay, and concrete tile, standing metal seam, slate tile, and flat roof systems. So come on, and let our family take care of your family. Call me on my cell at 954-604-4602, or find us on the web at laportacontracting.com. The number again is 954-604-4602.
Now, back to the Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig, celebrating 47 years on the air.
All right. We're back. You back with us, Steve? Oh, my goodness. Okay, we got the phones are ringing. You and I have been blabbing. You want to take some calls? Can you believe it's been a week? I mean, this is... I'm still pinching myself. I mean, for Trump to go, they shot him, they arrested him, they tried to take his money, they tried to put him in prison.
The thing I like, it's so well organized. He's in the process of setting up a dynasty.
Yes.
I see going, so that even when and if he leaves us under any circumstances, there will be a dynasty left remaining to continue on with MAGA.
That's right. That's right. Okay, let's go. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Brian from Deerfield.
Hey, Brian.
Hey, Brian.
Hey, Brian. Hi, Steve. How are you today?
Good.
I think we were watching, I know you guys have mentioned, one of the most spectacular events in the history of this country. The only analogy I can bring, if I think of this as a chess game, and I'm watching right now President Trump moving the pieces around the board and setting things up. His ability to withstand the legacy media and the Democratic Party, and watching them now actually kind of collapse on themselves. This guy, not right now, but down the road, I think we're going to see a checkmate here, because his picks for the position so far have been absolutely spectacular. And I can already feel the energy coming back to this country. If you look at the pick of Tom Homan for the border in that, can you imagine the people who work for ICE or on the border, how much their morale must have been boosted with these
What they
announcements?
say, the ICE people are sky high.
Yeah, they're high-fiving each other.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And pick after pick after pick.
And you know, here's the thing. I was talking earlier, okay, about this, and this is going to blow people away. Okay, so everybody knows this, that Marco Rubio is being discussed to be the Secretary of State. Okay, that he's not. I don't think it's official yet, but it's out there. It's in the news. Marco Rubio is only two into a 6-year term. There's going to be a replacement senator, okay, and there is the Senate. There's so few seats up. Every seat is important, and there's all this drama going on in the Senate, okay, on who the leader is going to be. I think Trump has everything under control. He knows who's going to replace Marco Rubio as the senator from Florida. He already knows who the Republican leader is going to be in the Senate. All these people that are having these hysterical panic attacks, I think Trump and Wiles, his chief of staff, and I think they got everything under control. They're like puppet masters. I don't think you got anything to worry about.
Yeah, it really looks like that's what I'm saying. As a chess champion, this guy is playing a three-dimensional chess or something, because the moves look like they've been well thought out and well planned, and now he's just executing the movements that he's already thought out. You know, one thing I would love to see, Elon Musk getting a hold of those books from the Democratic Party concerning this Democratic convention, and we're
that an Elon Musk is going to be in charge of the way I see it. Elon Musk is going to be in charge of
the audit,
rolling out the
my
bureaucracy.
goodness.
And
Well,
that's the answer to our spending problems. Because we got too many people working for the government.
Well, absolutely, and they're incompetent, and already $2 trillion in savings, clipping off, say, from 34 to 32 trillion in our national debt.
And I'll tell you another thing too. When Trump's going to make some really big moves on day one, right? Homan told Trump this week he needs 120 days to take care of the border. And you see Trump's response to Homan? He said you got 60. So I know, is that not, so Trump's going to make a lot of big moves, okay? And what's going to happen is La Raza and all these liberal civil libertarians are going to find some Biden, Obama, and Clinton judge and try to get it hold up. I don't think Trump's going to stop. Like when he did the Muslim ban, they found some liberal judge in New York to stop it. I don't think he's going to listen. I think he's going to I don't think he'll stop until it gets to the Supreme Court through the appeals. I think he'll continue. Like if a federal judge says you can't deport these illegals that have invaded our country, that are raping and murdering our women, I don't think Trump's going to stop doing it. I think he's going to continue to do it while they go through the appeals process up to the Supremes. It's not going to be like last time. He's never going to run again. I don't think he gives a blank what they did.
He's it's like MAGA on steroids. It's unbelievable to watch this. And he's not even supposedly not in power yet. But boy, it sure looks, we got a leader there. And you see how other people are talking with Netanyahu and the Houthis and all these people. The change is there. They know we have a strong president position, and it's really, I hope people at home really appreciate this president. It's spectacular.
And I love watching CNN. They're just terrible. Donald Trump is going to do what has never been even considered. He's going to fire people who work for the federal government. Well, I mean, how many people do you need to do these things? I mean, think about how much money, when Elon Musk goes through the government, how much money do they waste just on printer paper? You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, if this Democratic convention is a microcosm of the way they blow through money, $1.2 billion.
Exactly.
In there, that's only the beginning, too. Wait till we see unveil all the...
Well, you know what I'm curious about? When we you know what Elon Musk is going to find out? What kind of homes and where they're located that Zelensky and his leadership have. Yes. You know, and, yeah.
It didn't look too good in that video either.
No.
Or in her Harpo Productions, the $1 million.
She's Harpo Productions. Give me a break. I didn't take the money. It says Harpo Productions. Like, that's not her. It's Oprah spelled backwards. I mean, give me a break.
Yes. We're living in great days, and, you know, talk radio, you guys are doing a great job of highlighting this. It's sensational. I hope people appreciate it.
Meanwhile, our audience has more than doubled. In MSNBC, they've lost as much as 70%, depending on the show.
And nobody was watching even before that. I mean, who's watching that freaking thing?
By the way, speaking about that, we were talking before about
Joy Reid? Rachel Maddow?
Has anybody heard from Rachel Maddow?
No.
Heard from the face of the earth?
I don't know. Maybe she's hanging out at Never Trumper Steve's house up in Martin County. I don't know.
A lot of Fox has featured a lot of the people that are our least favorite people, and it's great television to watch.
You know, it's
Rachel Maddow has disappeared from viewers.
yeah. To me, she disappeared years ago, but I'll take a look.
She did, you know.
Anybody has cited Rachel Maddow?
Yeah, at Never Trumper Steve's house. Exactly. That's exactly right. All right, but appreciate the call. When I get off the air today, I'm going across the hall to Game Day Men's Health. I'm getting my testosterone treatment today, Steve. You know, I hear people talking about these things on the radio. They all say low T. They don't say testosterone. I had low testosterone, okay? And I've got enough testosterone to be manly when I say it. Having low testosterone is nothing to be embarrassed about. It's what we all go through. It's part of the aging process, having low testosterone. You can't stop it. It's male menopause. It's called andropause. And when you have low testosterone compared to when you have it, like I have the testosterone level of a 20-year-old now. I can feel the difference. I know you can hear the difference. I know you can tell the difference in the show and me. It's just a whole different thing. And, you know, when you have low testosterone, it's more than just sex, okay? You know, you have a decreased libido. Some have erectile dysfunction, have a hard time getting or maintaining an erection. And, of course, it reverses all of that. But it does a lot more, too. You know, when you have low testosterone, you could suffer from chronic fatigue, a lack of motivation, a loss of muscle, a loss of strength, increased belly fat. That's why when you get older, guys, you can't lose weight. I'm not working out or anything, but I'm getting more. I'm losing body fat. It's not just because I'm more active, having my testosterone levels restored to the level of a 20-year-old. My metabolism is working properly now, and not storing everything as blubber. I mean, I'm burning fat. It'll help you with anxiety, depression, memory loss, brain fog, as well as reverse erectile dysfunction and decrease libido, and so much more. Give Game Day Men's Health a call. They'll test your testosterone right there in the office like they did mine. Mine was so low. I mean, now I know why I was feeling bad for so long, and now I'm feeling great. Give them a call, 561-355-5341. 561-355-5341. That's 561-355-5341 for Game Day Men's Health. All right, it's time to check in with William Youngerman from the offices of William Youngerman Incorporated with today's gold and precious metals report. William Youngerman, how are the metals looking?
Metal's still giving us a great buying opportunity on the heels of tremendous strength in the U.S. dollar. The U.S. dollar index almost at 106 now. Which we haven't seen in probably almost 4 months. So great buying opportunities for everybody who's been on the sidelines waiting for gold to do some kind of a correction after running up to $2,795. And certainly we're getting that correction now, and it's time to at least do some scaled-in buying at these levels. So great buying opportunity. Yesterday we saw gold down $64.60, closing out the day at $2,619.10 the ounce after trading in a range as low as $26.09 to $26.86. Silver closed out the day down 65 cents at $30.64 the ounce. Platinum was down $6 at $9.62, and palladium was down $8 at $9.66. Overnight, we saw gold trading in a range of $2,589 on the low to $26.27 on the high. And right now, we're at $2,607 the ounce, well off the lows. That's down $11.90. Silver down 5 cents right now at $30.58 the ounce, while platinum is down $11 at $9.51, and palladium is down $19 at $9.47. So great buying opportunities right across the board in all four of the metals.
Absolutely. You know, I was reading last night, William Youngerman, that in Donald Trump's first term, because we're not in his second term yet, right? He's president-elect. In Donald Trump's first term, gold increased by 51% in Donald Trump's first term. I didn't know that. I was reading that last night. That's amazing. So things are looking good for a second term, too. Listen, William Youngerman opens up at 10 a.m. You can stop in at 150 East Palmetto Park Road in Boca on the first floor of the Bank of America building, just east of US 1 Federal Highway on the south side of Palmetto Park Road. You can give him a call toll-free, 1-800-327-5010. 1-800-327-5010. And find both his phone number and address on his website, williamyoungerman.com. All right, William Youngerman, we'll talk tomorrow.
Okay, have a great day.
All right, we'll be right back. Oh, no, we are back. Okay, if you're on hold, hang in there. I'm Brian. You back with us, Steve? Okay, we're all here. So, yeah, this is just exciting times. You know, you can tell by the picks that Donald Trump is making, like Homan and Stephen Miller. He doesn't care what the media thinks anymore. You know, oh, I can't get enough of listening to that guy. Oh.
Is there any way you cannot break families up?
Oh, his answer was perfect.
Yeah, it was great.
Yeah, you could. You could deport the whole family. Exactly. Listen. It's not like we're heartless. It's not, or Venezuela. It's not like we're heartless and have anything against this group of people. I mean, they were brought here by Obama and Kamala and Biden, but the country can't withstand it. I mean, Steve, between Elon Musk gutting the government waste and the expense of the illegals, whether to feed them, to house them, the legal problems, think about all the money that the government is going to be saving in the next 4 years. It's going to be an amount greater than the human mind can comprehend.
Public realizes it, yes.
They'll realize it real quick. All right, well, let's go to the phones. 1-888-465-2631. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Good morning, Ivy and Broward.
Hey, Abby.
On Friday, I wanted to say that I apologize to Vivek Ramaswamy. We were very protective of Trump, because he was in the snake's den, so to speak, or the alligator pit. And him going to China is would really nothing else.
I have no idea what you're talking about. What are you talking? I have no idea what you're talking about.
Vivek Ramaswamy.
Oh, Vivek Ramaswamy. Okay, what about Vivek Ramaswamy?
And I had thought of him having communism in him to make that point short. I'm apologizing because perhaps I'm wrong unless he proves me wrong. Now, having heard his upbringing with his father and his childhood and how he got into his business and so forth, all the speeches I've seen him do, I believe he will be good too.
So if Vivek Ramaswamy is listening, you want him to know that you apologize.
I want him to be in the FDA, Brian, if you let me finish.
Oh, the FDA.
His brain has to be engaged, okay? And there's a lot to clean up. Let's not forget about how they bombed, so to speak, our meat plants and our packing plants. Let's not forget about those things that happened, okay, in the last 4 years. And I think it will be good for that. As for what we're seeing is simple childish retaliation behavior. Some people have it too, like boiling hot steak.
It's called bigotry. It's the FEMA thing. It's bigotry.
But remember, they didn't let the helicopters go in. They took food and stuff away that they were trying to get help to the people. They were buried in mud. And who does that, right? When has FEMA ever been on the job immediately and done right to the American people in the last 10, 20 years?
Yeah.
To me, a point. However, FEMA has to be somehow reimagined, to be like to use that word, reimagine, okay? And let's not forget about...
But you just slow down. You don't have, I know you're talking fast because I keep your calls short usually, but listen, this is what happened at FEMA. You're talking Ben Shapiro fast, okay? What's going on with FEMA, this racist thing, is what's been going on nationwide. I mean, how many times have you heard these stories of medical schools, including the medical school at the University of Florida? DeSantis clamped down on this. They're teaching doctors about racial inequality when it comes to treatment, and to treat minorities before they treat white people because of past inequalities in the healthcare system. They've been training doctors that way. So it's not surprising that this racist tactic made its way to FEMA as well.
Portion of it, but the bigotry that they have. And let's not forget about the fire in Mari in Maui and the Philistine train derailment.
Okay. All right, we're getting a little wild over here, but I appreciate the call, IB. Take care. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Bob from Jupiter.
Hey, Bob.
Hey, I just real quick. I had experience with seeing the same thing. When they came up to me, the first thing they said was, "Do you need an interpreter?" I go, "Well, we're talking, right? Why would I need an interpreter?" And the next form that they sent me.
What are you talking about? Who's the they? What are you talking about?
FEMA.
Oh, FEMA.
After the hurricane, I was in Hurricane Ian on the West Coast.
Mm.
So the first thing they said to me is ask if I need an interpreter. I go, "Well, we're talking. Why would I need an interpreter?" And then the next thing they hand me a bunch of forms, and the forms is how much money I make, what my annual income was, and I told them I handed it back to them. I said, "Well, what does it have to do with annual income?" I go, the more money I make, probably the bigger house I have, the more damage I have.
Yes.
It has nothing to do with how much money I make. What does that have to do with anything? You either have damage or you don't. So my roof was ripped to pieces, and I went through this big long process with FEMA. I got nothing. But and then when I was on the phone with them, he said, "Well, we can get you a chainsaw." I go, "What do I want?"
Chainsaw. Yeah.
Yeah. You go, "We can get you that, but we can't get you any help because you make too much money." Okay, well, great. I appreciate that, guy. So
if you got nothing, this is interesting. First of all, a chainsaw is a sure way to kill yourself. Okay, I mean you don't want it to chainsaw. So if you have nothing and you've lost nothing, they give you money. But if you have something and you've lost it, you get nothing. You have too much, even though you just lost it. That's great.
That's exactly what.
I used to have something. It's all gone now. Well, you had it, so you get nothing.
So the more money you make, probably the bigger house you have, the more damage you have. I go, what does that do with income? I don't understand that. Of course, he looks at me, and the guy was from Oregon. I go, "Well, what would it cost to send you from Oregon here?" And he had no idea what was going on in Florida. He couldn't find his way. He was in some Birkenstock shoes,
Oh my goodness, that's the worst.
It's just a joke. The whole process, and everybody on the West Coast that I talked to had the exact same experience. FEMA didn't help.
Well, you remember there's that Ronald Reagan. His most famous line, I think, is the scariest words you ever heard. "I'm from the government and I'm here to help." That's
what the guy told me.
I'm from the government and I'm here to help. Oh my goodness. Oh, what an idiot. He actually said that? Oh my goodness.
You might get a tarp out of them, and they offered me a $50.
A tarp?
$50 chainsaw. Yeah, I said that's not going to help. My whole roof's caved in. What's a tarp going to do for me? But that was it. They didn't really want to.
Well, you could finish destroying your house with the chainsaw. Unbelievable. All right, take care. I appreciate the call. Oh my goodness, Steve, they're useless. Now I want to talk about the Angel water purification system. Listen, guys, I've been telling you about this for a while. Here's the deal. Before I had my Angel water filtration system in my home, I really thought that a water filtration system was a luxury. It's not. I've learned it's a necessity. It will change your life, okay? I'm going to give you in a moment the number to Angel Water. Call them. They're going to send Rocky out to your house at no charge and test your water and find out what you and your family are drinking, cooking with, and bathing with. When they tested my water and they were showing me, they do the test, Steve, they show you what, Rocky will show you. He's a good MAGA guy, by the way. He'll take good care of you. And when he gave me the list, it was showing me what was in my water. I could not believe what I raised my daughter up drinking, Steve. It was not good. And now, the Angel water filtration system filters all the water before it enters the house. So all the water in the house, every sink, the refrigerator, every appliance, even my garden hoses, the showers, everything is filtered through the Angel water filtration system first. And the water, the best way to describe the water, the way it tastes, the way it feels, it's like Fiji water, okay, which is upscale bottled water. So I don't just have Fiji water coming out of my sink. Can you imagine? It's amazing. I'm bathing in Fiji water. And what you will notice with the Angel water filtration system is what my family noticed. I immediately, and my wife said the same, as did my daughter. Your hair and body will be cleaner than it's ever been before. Your skin will feel as if it's been moisturized. It's one of those things you got to experience. It's amazing. Your hair will feel, without even conditioning it, that it's been conditioned. By the way, the Angel water filtration system gets things out of the water that other systems do not. And they have an incredible offer for those of you that listen to our radio station. Angel Water is going to give you a free under-the-sink reverse osmosis system with the purchase of a whole house refiner. You get that? A free under-the-sink reverse osmosis system, which I have, with the purchase of a whole house refiner, which I also have. Give them a call. Here's the number. And have Rocky come out and test your water and see what you and your family are drinking, cooking with, and bathing with. Oh, boy. 561-899-6585. 561-899-6585. That's 561-899-6585 for Angel Water. Okay, so things are going better. I knew things would be great, but they're going better than that I could have imagined, Steve. I mean, they're just. I mean,
That's the beauty of Trump. He doesn't give them anything to dig their teeth into. He's love bombing them.
Yeah, yesterday he did 2 appointments, right? He did the Homan. They're flipping out, and before they could even process it, he named Stephen Miller. And then you wake up today, and we got Marco Rubio, and so he's going to be quick. Oh, and Kristi Noem. And what's going on here? And I'm telling you, what J.D. Vance is obviously the heir, unless he does something and screws up, which I don't expect. So 4 years from now, we're expecting to have President-elect J.D. Vance. Kristi Noem and Marco Rubio are the first 2 contestants to be J.D. Vance's running mate. It's a game of it's like The Apprentice is back, but at a much larger level. This isn't so much the case anymore, but it used to be before my time, before Steve's time. Secretary of State was a stepping stone to the White House. So taking Marco, senators don't do much. They vote yay and nay. So there's a lot of serious international things that got to be dealt with. South America, China, Russia, Iran. Trump is elevating Marco Rubio to a whole new level to prep him for being J.D. Vance's running mate, as Kristi Noem, who's being resurrected from that little problem that she had in her book, as the Homeland Security Secretary. As the Homeland Security Secretary, she's going to have a big role in these deportations with Homan. Okay? So, and I don't know who the other contestants on The Political Apprentice are going to be, but you're right, Steve. He's setting up a MAGA dynasty. And if you know, these are... That's right.
It's going to maintain itself as a separate identity from here on.
Yeah. And if you notice, all these people are young for political people. Homan, I don't know how old Homan is. It's hard to tell, what his age is. But he's the oldest. The other ones are all my age. Marco, Kristi Noem, Miller's younger. You know what I mean? So he not only is he bringing in these perfect people, he bringing in young people so they don't age out. You know what I mean? In 4 or 8 years. Well, listen, we are out of time for today. Tomorrow we will be back at 6 a.m. and so much going on. Thanks, everyone, for tuning in. You're listening to The Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest-running radio show on the radio since 1977, celebrating 47 years on the... We have to update those sounders to 48 soon. I'm Brian. Steve Kane is here. Have a great day, everyone. We'll see you tomorrow morning at 6 a.m. All right, guys, thanks for watching. All right, I'll see you later. Take care. If you're new, make sure you subscribe, everyone, okay? All right, see you later.